Hi everyone, welcome back to Our Hollywood. I'm Daniel.
I'm Kim.
And
it's hot as hell.
Actually, I'm actually fine now.
What?
I was really hot when we were recording the episode.
When I stood up, I felt a lot better.
I think I'm sticky. Thirsty.
Oh. What? Okay, Daniel was thirsty. I felt sticky to my seat.
Also, the entire episode. Okay, so I got this haircut that I don't like at all, like in the slightest, and so like,
I think it's just like a little too short.
I just don't know what her thought process was. Anyway, whatever. This is like I've been wearing baseball hat. People liked my baseball hat era.
That was a good picture. I think it was just also really clear. Like it was a very well lit.
Oh, we were in front of a window.
Picture. So I think that's another reason. Content creation.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what I was gonna say. Anyways, so before we get into our topic of the day, which is I Want to Be Famous, how themes of kids TV shaped a generation.
It's a mouthful.
Ours. Yeah.
It's okay.
I just said how
I think it's fun though.
It is fun. You guys will see. It's like a throwback.
Yeah.
I remember so many TV shows that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Like that I did.
It's just good to reminisce.
Yeah, but then we get too deep and then it's like, well, not too deep.
And then
like,
we spiral.
It needed to be. Yeah, we did spiral.
Well,
we get into parenting.
Okay, so we picked this topic. Well, who wrote it? I think I wrote it on the thing. And I was like, oh, I want to talk about Hannah Montana. And then I started thinking, I'm like, oh my God, kids. Future.
That's definitely
the future of our generation or whatever world. And then I was like, it actually matters a lot. And it's like, yeah. So we'll get into that.
Yeah, you'll see. But before we do that, we just want to plug our socials. So at our Hollywood on Instagram, at our Hollywood on TikTok, our Hollywood on YouTube where we post the video versions, and at our Hollywood on Letterboxd where you can see all the if we're talking about movies, because I don't know why they still don't have TV shows.
I know.
They should just do a separate app or something, but what are you waiting for?
I don't even think you need the separate app. I don't
know why.
Because they have limited series on there.
They do.
So I'm just just do it all. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares?
You could even have my top films, my top TV shows.
Yeah.
Fun.
And you add another element.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway. We love you, Letterboxd, though.
Yeah, we do. Sponsor us. Anyway, so what we watched this week.
You go.
This is another HBO Max commercial. But so we were just okay. So I watched these in the last 2 days. So sometimes we'll just turn on or HBO Max and a random movie will be on. I'll be like, okay, whatever, we'll watch it. So 2 days ago, Freaky was on the big thing.
Have you never watched it?
No. So I barely watched it, and honestly, really good time.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
And it gave me it was from the same people that did Happy Death Day, right?
Yeah, Christopher Landon,
so
I think is his name.
It's a good time. He makes really good, lighthearted, funny comedy movies. You know what you're getting out of it.
And I think it's fun how he will take a trope and make it into a horror movie. Mm-hmm. So the Groundhog Day slasher or Freaky Friday slasher. And there's one they just announced that it's another kind of a comedy movie trope that they're turning into a slasher, but I don't remember what it is.
Fun.
Anyway, yeah, it was a good time. I did think it was weird though, when it's because it was so overwhelming. So okay, whatever. Long story short, the girl swaps bodies with a serial killer, and it's Vince Vaughn, and she's young and blonde, and he's older, and also didn't know he was 6'5".
Yeah, he's giant.
Literally.
He's
insane.
A giant. I love Catherine Newton as well.
Yeah, me too. Oh, she's gonna play Ant-Man's daughter in the new one.
I love her.
Yeah.
I literally love her so much.
But what was I
love that white woman.
Anyway, there's this one scene where the girl's love interest is talking to her when she's inside of the serial killer's body, and he's flirting.
So it's actually Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. So the kid is flirting with Vince Vaughn, and he's like, "Can I kiss you right now?" And I was like, "Really? You're gonna kiss the serial killer body? Just wait till she switches back."
It's just funny because it just shows men are clueless. That's the gag.
I thought that what it was trying to be is oh wow, he loves her for who she is, not because what she looks like. But I don't think that came across because it looked like a child trying to kiss a grown man. And I get it was a joke.
Yeah.
But
yeah, there's definitely moments in the movie where I was I think I'm just thinking about it too hard.
Yeah, oh my God, no, me with anything ever to exist.
Yeah, I can't enjoy movies in peace anymore. That's the thing. Maybe just listen to your podcast as an enjoyer of film and TV, because sometimes once you get into it and once you know more things about film and TV, it just sucks the joy out of a lot of things. We just analyzed.
You're about to see Disney Channel shows.
It's necessary though.
It is.
Okay.
Anyway, what did you watch, Kimberly?
I watched Love Island again. It's like...
Do you want to talk about Never Have I Ever since you didn't get to last time?
Yeah. I wasn't going to talk about Love Island anyways because I'm really like confused about what's going on right now. Anyways, Never Have I Ever season 2. Yeah, season 2 came out like a couple weeks ago, and I didn't realize how many people watched it.
It's so popular, but
I didn't know because I didn't think it was gonna get a second season because like when the first season came out, me and my friend literally watched it like A to B. We did not take any breaks. We just watched the whole thing, and I liked it a lot. But I didn't hear anybody talking about it, so I was like, okay, were we the only ones that watched it? Like, what's going on? But then season 2 came out, and that's all I saw.
Yeah,
that's all I saw for like a whole week straight. And
maybe it gained like a following as the new season came out.
Yeah, and like quarantine. It was like quarantine when it came out.
Oh, okay.
So maybe people just. I feel like a lot of people watch a bunch of different things. So maybe I don't know. And I love that show a lot. I feel like a lot, like, and I don't. It's weird because I see a lot of. I don't know if she's Desi.
Devi.
Devi is, but Desi like Indian.
Oh! You're trying to say her name.
Okay, well, like I see a lot of Indian girls, they love it, and then I see a lot of Indian people hate it.
Oh,
so
interesting.
It's a very polarizing show for actual Indian people
who it's supposed to like be representing.
Yeah, but I see a lot of girls that look like Devi loving it, but the people that I've seen criticizing it aren't like young brown girls. So maybe it's just for the young brown girls. Is like what I'm thinking, like in the Indian community, because like there's a lot of different types of like things going on.
Yeah.
So especially when it comes to like the American brown girl experience, especially when you're like first generation from like your parents were born in India and they came here for you to have a better life. So there's definitely like differences. So I don't know. I really like it. So I thought that was interesting. It's something I recently saw. And then also, I think when it comes to I love a love triangle. We all love a love triangle.
Yeah, of course.
We talk about love triangles in the episode later.
Yeah.
And so I'm team, if I had to choose a team, I'd be Team Paxton. And this is because of the logic that they use in the show. Okay. Because in the show, they're having the conversation.
I saw that on TikTok.
Yes, and then they were like, both of her friends were like Team Paxton, and then she's like, wait, why? And they're like, well, who, like when you're old, like wouldn't you want to like look back and be like, you're with the hot one, which is valid as fuck, because like it's not going to work out with Ben forever. Like she's so chaotic, like Ben is not going to be your husband, so why wouldn't you like the white boy, and then Paxton's the Asian,
the 30-year-old man.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
And I was like, yeah, that logic makes 110% sense to me.
Wait, does Paxton actually like her?
That's the thing. I don't think I think the show is greatly written, but I think maybe Paxton needs more development, and I don't think they utilized it as well as I thought they were going to. Maybe in season 3 he'll get a little bit more development, but I think that's maybe why a lot of people are quote unquote Team Ben versus Team Paxton, because Paxton is just, he's honestly just very honestly written like a high school boy, like no thoughts head empty. But I also don't understand why people are Team Ben, because he starts dating the new brown girl, and then at the end it's like, oh, he still has feelings for Davy, and I'm like, then why are you dating one of her friends that literally is the only other brown girl at school?
That brings up.
That's okay. Thank you.
Weird.
That's weird, right?
Because like he would.
Like, why are you bringing
I
her
haven't seen
into
the show,
it?
but from what you're saying, like his type sounds like fetishizing.
You said it, not me. You said it,
but
not
again,
me.
I haven't seen the show.
It was giving that energy a little bit. I don't think the show will go into that because it's
white.
Yes, and I was talking to Gracie. I was like, I'm just tired of this narrative that the brown girl needs to end up with the white boy.
Okay.
And I think that's why I'm not Team Ben, and I've never been Team Ben. Like I get it, like from a story point of view, I get why people like that and why the narrative is like fun for a comedy. It's not a deep, it's a comedy TV show.
It's a teen comedy.
Yeah, and but I'm just tired of seeing the brown girl with the white boy. Like, I think I like that Paxton is Asian, and I think that's like the driving force on like why I'm like such a stan. Because you don't see a lot of Asian on Asian couples that are like different types of Asian.
Yeah.
Because South Asian is very different from like he's Japanese.
Okay, so what it seems like is like you're looking at it from a media perspective, and Gracia, like, okay, I'll tell you why Gracia. So my friend Gracia, she like has talked to me about it. Like, again, I still like hearing about shows even if I don't know what's going on because I still think it's interesting.
Same.
So she's told me why she's team men.
Oh, okay.
And she told me like for one,
I think she told me too. Like,
she likes losers. Like that's not like that's what her words, not mine. She likes quote unquote losers, and so
maybe I should come on next Besties episode and we can have a Paxton Ben debate.
It's like debate club. But yeah, she says she likes losers, and she said she sees Ben as more of a husband than Paxton.
But Debbie is so chaotic. She's not gonna marry Ben
again. But yeah, that's
so. What I'm trying to say is, if I had to choose, I'd be Paxton. But in reality, I want another love interest to come and her actually grow up a little bit and her be with that person.
Maybe they'll pull a Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I'm sure they will. And like to all the boys that left before.
Do they do that too? She doesn't end up with either of them?
No, she does.
Oh.
Actually, no. I haven't watched the third one. I think she ends up with Noah Centineo, though. But
wait, is it even out? I don't think it's out.
The third one?
Yeah. You would have been on it, I think, if it came out.
No, I didn't even watch the second one.
Oh, just kidding. Wait, you were at a stand.
I know. I don't want to get into it. It's like such a touchy subject.
Okay.
Anyways, but I think even the actress that plays Debbie, she's like, they asked, obviously, because that's like the thing. And then she's like, I'm Team Debbie. Like, I want her to get her shit together. And I was like, yes, because Debbie is like so chaotic. And it's because you know how like sometimes the main character is like too crazy and you're like, I don't even like the main character anymore.
Yes.
I don't know what it is about Debbie. She gives the same energy, but I still like her for some reason. In first season, I didn't really like her that much. For second season, I don't know why I liked her.
I think I started watching the show and then like I stopped number one because I was like, I don't think I'm the demographic for this. But number two, I was like, I didn't really
I didn't like how she treated her friends in the first season.
Yeah. That's why I didn't finish it. But maybe I'll give it just so I can
maybe just like skip. Maybe they have a recap on Netflix or like the characters talk about a recap of season 1. Maybe just watch the recap and then watch season 2.
Okay, so I can have a discussion about this.
Yeah, because season 2 is very much better and I can't wait for season 3 to see where it goes because the way they set it up, I'm very excited. But I really hope they add another love interest or just like let Debbie have her space and stuff because I think that's what actually the fans want is like Debbie to like grow up because you know the shtick of like her being so chaotic and like making these really rash decisions and it even talks about like her anger issues and her decision making skills a little bit because she goes to therapy and stuff. So I think
and cool. the therapist is Niecy Nash.
Yeah,
so fun.
It's so fun. So I hope they get into that a little bit more, but I think they will because like you know the first 2 seasons you got to keep it a little light.
But you know what's interesting? I think the demographic for the show is a lot older than they think it is.
Yeah.
It feels
100%.
It feels like they were like it was supposed to be like a kid show, but the demographic is like teenagers to like early 20s people. Yeah. From what I've seen on social media.
And that's the power of having a brown girl as your like and her BFFs are also PSEs.
Is the show like PG-13 or what is it?
I have no idea. I would say PG-13 because they talk about sex and stuff.
Oh, why did I think it was like a kid show?
No, it's like a teen show, like older. I don't know. It's teetering the line.
Anyways, that's all for the pre-show. Oh my god, this episode is gonna be so long. I already know. Okay, ad break, and then we'll be back with our guest Amy. Okay, bye guys.
Welcome back from our ad break. Speaking of our ad breaks, on like when I listen to it on Spotify, like they're like misplaced. So we'll have to figure that out after. No, it's like weird because it's like only like a minute or two before the actual ad break, so it'll break right at the end of like our first segment. And then it'll just keep going, and then we'll be like, okay, we're gonna go for ad break, and then it immediately comes back from ad break because I don't know how to explain it. It just comes a little too early.
I get what you're saying. The actual ad starts too
early. Yeah, like a minute or two too early.
I wonder what that's about.
I know. Like it's just like a perfectionist thing. Like I don't think people that listen.
Well, because does it interrupt us?
Yeah, but it comes right back. Like I don't know how to explain it.
No, I get it.
I'll have to show you an example.
Okay, anyway.
I just thought about that right now, so I need to tell you before I forgot again.
If that's happening to them, if that just happened to you, please let us know. Because we need to... Also on Apple Podcasts, you listen to it on Spotify, right?
Yeah, listen to it.
Okay, anyway, we're back with our guest now. Amy, hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm so good. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good.
I I actually like took myself on a date today. I didn't even mean to. It's really nice. I ate lunch.
You didn't mean to?
No, I was just like, oh, I should probably get lunch by myself. And then I was like, maybe I'll get dessert too. And I did both of those things, and I ate in public and alone. And it was such a freeing thing. I remember I used to be really scared about like eating in public alone because, you know, you always think everybody's staring at you when no one gives a shit usually. Except the couple that was in the restaurant where I was at, they kept on looking at me. So fan behavior. It was weird though. I was like, am I crazy or do they keep on looking at me? I'm literally not doing anything. I'm just enjoying my taquitos.
They were like, oh my god, that's Kimberly.
No. Not the man who
they wanted your autograph.
Yeah.
He literally had like a Vietnam veteran hat on. So like he doesn't give a fuck. It was
that's
probably maybe it was like my shirt.
What does it say?
Hey there, big boy.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe it was that.
Maybe it was that.
Yeah.
That's productive. I'm usually not productive. I don't know. I just feel good about it. It seems like it, but no.
No, I completely get that. I'm like that too. Like I'll have my moments where I have like so much energy, but then like other times I'm just like, yeah, can't do it.
You're like, what am I gonna do with all this energy?
Yeah.
And then nothing happens.
Exactly.
Anyway, so hi, Amy, how are you? We're gonna quickly before we get into our topic today. I just want to ask you a couple of questions so the listeners can get to know you a little bit. So what interests you about like film and television, and what made you want to go into this industry?
Interestingly enough, I was a theater kid growing up, so I was just always into like singing and dancing and acting and all that. And I always just loved movies growing up. It wasn't something that I really like looked into as a career. My freshman year of college is when I actually like looked into that, and I was like, oh, like this would be really like fun to pursue. And then it became something that I became more interested in. And I've always just loved how film was able to just move all different kinds of audiences and bring people together. And that's something that I've always just wanted to do. I've always wanted to entertain and just bring people together.
No, period. Yeah, I think that's something that's like common among like a lot of people that want to go into this industry. It's like, I think they're genuinely good intentions. There is obviously people that are in it because they were just very like, you know, self-centered. But I think the majority of people that we've talked to at least are like, they genuinely have good intentions, which is good because that's what the industry needs.
Yes.
Very urgently. And then, so our topic for today is so our little title is I Want to Be Famous, how themes of kids TV shaped a generation. So before like we get into like what that means, why did you specifically choose this topic?
I love the topic because I just loved like also the TV shows that you picked because they influenced me so much growing up as well. And I just think it's just so interesting how we're so easily influenced by like things that we watch online or like things that we just like see on TV and stuff. And I just really love this topic because I feel like I can speak so much about it because it's influenced me personally so much as well.
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting to see how it's evolved. I just remembered something that I'll add to the end of the list, but like our generation, so what are we, Gen Z?
Yeah.
Barely. Our kids, what are kids right now? Are they also Gen Z? Like children, like right now?
I'm not, probably.
No,
I don't think they've come
up with the name. Gen Y or something?
Oh, maybe.
I think it was like, isn't it like Gen Y? I might be completely, I really don't know.
The youth.
The youth of today.
I think it's interesting that, like, we'll talk about it, but like our version of famous versus their idea of fame.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about the article that you wrote called Fun Little Article?
Oh, yeah. It is actually really interesting. So the first one isn't as deep, but it's just kind of just like saying how because Hannah Montana was such a big show and it was kind of like it was literally so groundbreaking that I think it started because Nickelodeon in the 90s was the kids network.
Yeah.
You know, for millennials, I guess. Yeah, I would say like probably like millennials, like Nickelodeon was the
where it's at
place.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like when Hannah Montana came on the scene. I have gum in my mouth, so I need to get that out of my mouth. I'm just gonna hold it in my hand. Basically, it was just saying how that show and basically that being leading to the success of like other Disney Channel shows for probably the next decade or so. Whenever like we were kids, it shifted. So, and then everybody was just kind of trying to replicate the success of Hannah Montana. And it talks about like, it kind of just compares like 90s, I think it was like early 90s, Clarissa Explains It All was like the Hannah Montana show because it was like the most popular one. And that was just basically about her like just trying to make it through high school as a normal person, like juggling. I think they said like she was like juggling 2 part-time jobs and like stuff like what's it called? Yeah, she was just being a normal ass kid because no one was really trying to, social media wasn't a thing. Yeah, so nobody was trying to be like get a viral TikTok and whatever. Like, you know, it's so weird. And then the second, that one was on the Atlantic, and the second one I watched was on Desert News. And I really like this one because it talks about statistics and like they actually did like studies about this because it was such a phenomenon. And basically it was saying how this part of TV, kids TV, basically changed the value system for people, because before the TV shows were about like family and like friendships and just general high school like day-to-day issues. So it was more about like, and it was based, they like usually had like friendships, like we're at the core of it, right? So before, the biggest factor was community building, I guess, like having community relationships and stuff like that. Like you could go to your neighbor's house like whenever you wanted, and all the neighborhood kids like played. Like if you watch like Stranger Things and stuff like that are set in like 80s and 90s and stuff, it's always like kids like playing outside all the time, and that was like the thing. And they all had like, you know,
everyone knew each other.
Whereas
now it's like very rare that you talk to your neighbors.
Yeah, I don't even know what my neighbors look like. Like it's so weird. Well, I don't pay attention. Well, on my left, on my right, I know. Okay. And actually, no. Actually, I wouldn't be able to know if like I saw them in this grocery store and like I wouldn't know. But when they're at the house, I'm like, oh hey, I just don't look at them. Anyways, so I just think that was really interesting. And then also another thing in it was just kind of like they like talked to a bunch of kids, and it was like 20 or something like that, and the most important things to them for their future was like fame was number one. And how jarring is that?
That's also very
but
scary.
It makes sense though when you think about like people our age and like, you know, growing up and stuff. Like most people wanted to, maybe it was just me, but like wanted to be like a something in the arts, you know, and like be famous for that rather than like wanting to be a doctor. I mean, I knew a lot of people that wanted to be nurses and stuff too, but I feel like in the back of everybody's mind, they wanted to like become famous in some sort of way. And I mean, we'll talk about this more later, but then it's weird that we'll talk about this later. I'll talk about it when it comes to Hannah Montana. And then at the end of the thing, it was like talking about parents. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't really think about that because I'm not a parent. Like, I don't think about like, what would I let my kids watch on TV? But I was talking about this one lady, I'm pretty sure, and she was just saying how she felt like on Disney Channel, she said, I found those shows to be very materialistic and very sexist. And very early on, we decided to like not show our kids that. And honestly, I can see why they think that. So
that's an interesting
I don't know if cutting out things completely from kids' lives, especially when it's like such a popular form of media, and like, you know, like Hannah Montana, I guess was like the biggest one. Like, I don't know if like taking it completely away from them, I don't know what that's going to do to them, because if kids get, I mean, like, I don't know, like I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter and stuff growing up, but like,
did it make you want to watch it more?
No.
Oh.
But I was also not a rule breaker at all. So I don't know, but I feel like I missed out on a part of like
the culture.
You know what I mean?
Okay, that's a good point, because like, for example, like I wasn't allowed to watch like SpongeBob, right? And so now, like, SpongeBob is like a meme essentially, and like there's so many things that people bring up SpongeBob all the time, and like I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, you feel like you're missing out, kind of.
Yes, yeah. I just feel like I'm like, oh, I don't know what this reference is, but also, like when it was coming out, I didn't feel like I was missing out. Like when during when I was young, I didn't feel excluded. Okay. Whereas now I'm like, oh, that I just never saw it while everyone else did.
Yeah.
So I wonder. We should ask that these children.
I know, like, what do they think?
So, like update?
Because I feel like maybe it just depends on your kid, I guess. But I feel like, honestly, maybe that is a good idea. But I mean, I think parents should definitely pay attention.
Oh, of course.
Way more to what their kids are watching, especially, like, now that we have streaming services, or for, like, as when you're a kid, you're like, oh, I can only watch Nickelodeon, Disney Channel.
Because
like,
that's what's on.
That's what's on, and, like, when they have kids Netflix and stuff, but like how easy is it to like switch over, especially when you're like in middle school and stuff. Like I looked on kids Netflix because sometimes I'll like watch it with my cousins and stuff, and I'm like, oh, there's like nothing. It's like literally just for kids. There needs to be like a preteen like teenager section of Netflix, because there are some more, and like HBO Max, like HBO is like
don't get me started.
Known, well, I don't know if they're known for it now, but like they were known for like having more like risque things. So, and especially that it's on a streaming service now, and like you can't really monitor what your kids are watching. I know there's parental controls, but like kids are so much more savvy than their parents and like will be able to figure it out, like to get, it's not that hard.
It's really not, especially now that with like, I think TikTok it's like, obviously TikTok is doing great things, but it's also very dangerous because like, for example, like Euphoria, the show became a trend. Like and so younger kids were watching it. That is not a show for younger kids.
That's why 12-year-olds, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we've said this before, but like, I just think, that's important. But
they're not going to be able to experience childhood, and I feel like that sucks. Like people that are like children now, they're not actually experiencing childhood. And like there's like little things like on TikTok that would people, there's like 12-year-olds or like 11-year-olds being like, I want to be called a MILF now. And I'm like, sorry,
oh my gosh.
What now? And then they're like in a weird angsty time, obviously, and people that are like trying to look out for them, like older people on TikTok, they're like, you're just jealous because I'm hot. And it's like, oh my God, that's literally a direct effect from Maddie from Euphoria. Like, guys, that's a little scary, you know?
Yeah, it's interesting because I have 2 siblings who are like very different from each other, but like, for example, my brother, he's from my mom's side, and then my sister's from my dad's side. My sister was not allowed to have like a phone up, like she recently just got a phone and she's 13, and it's just interesting to see how she like turned out, I guess. Like she, you know, since she didn't have a phone, she would mostly watch TV. Right. And like the things that she like would watch would be like anime or like Nickelodeon or whatever shows are like on now. I don't know, because I don't watch those shows anymore. But she turned out like wanting to be like an artist because she liked like those animations and stuff like that, and she loves drawing. While my brother, on the other hand, he was allowed to have a phone from like day one. Like they gave him a phone, whatever, and he's on like TikTok a lot, you know, because like, you know, moms and like their boys, they like treat them differently than their girls growing up, whatever. And my brother, because he's always on TikTok and stuff, and like he's influenced by all those things, he wants to be like a streamer or like somebody who like is on those platforms. And I just thought it was, when you brought that up, I thought it was really interesting too, because I see that with like my siblings, that they are like different because of how they were influenced with these like TV shows or like TikTok, social media and stuff like that.
What a social experiment. That's
it's
very
gonna be,
interesting.
because you know there's studies going on right now about it, so it's gonna be really interesting to like see
the long term.
My sister, she's like really introverted. Like it's really hard for her to make friends and stuff. And my brother, like he's opposite. Like he loves talking to people, even though like sometimes he'll just like stay in his rooms. But I guess like some boys are like that anyways, because they like playing games and stuff. But yeah, it's very interesting to see how like they grew up and how they turned out, like what they want to be when they're older.
That's Okay, that's like very fascinating because I think like you said, like a lot of young kids right now, their goal is like to be an influencer and like
That's why it's so weird
I
to
don't
like
know.
see, like, especially because I do like fashion TikTok and stuff,
Right.
and like I'll follow people that are in the same space, and I don't know, it is bad of me just to assume that everybody is like 20 plus years old, you know what I mean? And because when I was that age, I didn't think it was possible for me to like do that. Like obviously there was like YouTubers and stuff that were like our age, but I just was like, it's not really like what, like I still feel like it's out of reach for me to like do YouTube or whatever at that age. But like there's some people that I know that are like have a massive following on TikTok that are literally 16, 15 years old. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I just like, it makes me worried for them, even though I know they don't want anybody worrying about them because you feel grown when you have like a big platform like that. You really do. So like, I don't know. It just makes me scared for like them and their development. Because even though when you get to like that age, 15, 16 years old, you feel like you're at such a big age and you know a lot, but you really don't. Like you're going to like look back at what you do in like 4 months. I still do this to this day. Like, I'll look back at myself like 6 months ago and I'm like, what the fuck? what? Because you're literally constantly evolving and forever.
Yeah.
But like I feel like a big jumps happen between like 15 to like honestly like 27. I would feel
I feel like every year is like a
new chapter.
Yeah.
New season.
Yeah, and it's also hard because like those 15 and 16-year-olds that have all those followings, like they have people looking up to them as well, and like it's so hard when like they make a mistake because they're still like learning and growing up because everybody is always so quick to attack them, and it's just like they're still a kid at the end of the day. But I mean, obviously it's good to keep people like accountable and stuff. Like if you do something wrong, like, oh, that wasn't right, whatever. But they're still kids, and it's just like people expect so much from others when like they don't know what's going on behind the scenes and stuff.
Yeah, like I was so stupid as like a teenager. Like I don't think I definitely should, like, no one under the age of 18 should have a platform, I think, because it's like for your own good. Like genuinely it's for your own good. It's not because we think you're like bad at anything. It's just because like looking back at like how I was when I was like 16, 17, even 18, it was like
also like YouTubers that I was talking about, like Bethany Moda and like people like that.
Oh my God, I forgot about Bethany Moda.
Like they are older now, and like they came up. They came back on like my For You page. Like people that were like big when they were young, Amanda Steele, like those type of like girlies that were like really young, like 16 years old when they got their following, and they kind of like fell off, quote unquote, by the time they hit like, I would say like maybe like 18 to 21, they felt extreme burnout and are just now coming back and being like, actually, this is who I really am. Like, because when you get your following, it's like, especially when you hit your peak, you know what I mean? Your audience is going to want you to stay like that. But that's not because you're human. Like you're an actual person. It's not a character. To some degree, it becomes a character. Like it wasn't at first, but as you get older, I heard like, I listened to Pretty Basic. So it's like Alicia Marie and like Remy Ashton. Alicia was saying like how she was like 23 years old and doing back to school content. And she was like, it just at some point I was like, what am I doing? Like I've grown so far past this, but it's hard because you want to keep your audience, and losing followers is like a big no, especially when you have like agents involved and you get all these people involved in your team and everybody's kind of riding on you for their job. You know what I mean? So like it's hard, and especially like rebrandings as like companies and stuff, but you become the company yourself. You're not even a person. So like where does your internet personality end and when do you begin? Especially when you're at a development age, in an age when you're trying to like, you're basically in your own coming of age movie, like you know what I mean? So I don't know, it's really weird. So we got really far, so far, but the first show that we're going to talk about is Hannah Montana. It started in 2006. It seems so far away. 2006 to 2011. It had 4 seasons, a whole ass concert movie, and a theatrical release movie, which is the most distinguished out of all of the shows. Not the like out of everything, all of the media. That's like the most distinguished show that we are going to be talking about, and I think everybody after is trying to like kind of replicate Hannah Montana's success. Yeah. So we all know what Hannah Montana is. I don't know why I put the log line. I just
okay. I think what's interesting about Hannah Montana is that when we were what was this like? We were like
2006 was like elementary school. Like I think
8, 9, 12.
Like third grade. I was in third grade. I want to say like third grade.
Yeah, it was elementary school, and Hannah Montana was like a girl, considered a girl thing. So like all the little backpacks, the little merch was pink and glittery, and this was like marketed especially towards girls, I think. And like guys were just supposed to be like, oh, Hannah Montana sucks or whatever. But I think most guys secretly watch Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
Like everyone that I talked to, yeah, every guy that I've talked to that's like, they said that they like didn't like when they were kids, they were like, oh no, we hate Hannah Montana, but it was always on. And everyone's like,
but you had like point. Even the guy characters, even though they were like the side characters, they were funny as fuck. Yeah. Like Jackson and Oliver and Rico, they were all like really funny, and they would have like their moments on the show too. So I think Hannah Montana like knew there's like guys secretly watching.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and then it like debuted on March 24th, 2006 to literal overnight success. I think this was like the biggest debut at the time.
Yeah.
Was 5.4 million viewers. Like,
did you
one day? What?
Okay, so there's the cast list.
Well,
right?
because I feel like he was the number one love interest, so I felt like
it was him and Jake.
Yeah.
Right.
Jake.
Oh wait, that is Jake. Him and
Jake and Jesse.
Oh, his name was Jesse.
Jesse, yeah.
Oh,
he was like the guitarist.
I remember that was like the moment, like that was like, who is she gonna pick?
Yes.
Best believe he can be the one was on repeat on my iPod shuffle. That was
and it was really hard because they were actually both really valid love interests.
Right.
Like.
It was
maybe
up to her.
In my like deranged like
I don't
elementary school mind. Maybe if I watch it again, I'd be like, I don't.
There's definitely, if we watch it again, there'll definitely be some red flags from both sides.
Oh, 100%. Well, like Jake was so flip-floppy. Yeah. He was literally so flip-floppy. And I think also like Jake was supposed to be like, it's always like the nice guy and then the bad boy. It's always that.
Yeah.
And Jesse was like the bad boy, but he was like so there and chill, and Jake wasn't. Jake.
The bad boy?
No.
Oh, the good one.
The one that you have history with.
I have pictures with both of them.
You have pictures?
Yeah, there are no receipts. I will not pull up the receipts.
You have to show them.
You met both of them?
It was at Comic-Con. One of them was promoting this alien show, and the other one was promoting this like a horror movie or something. They were like in the same hotel lobby at the same time, and the girl that I was with was like, "That's this person from Hannah Montana." They looked very different, and I was like, "So should we go say hi?" And then we got pictures of both of them. And I look absolutely horrid, so I will not be posting evidence. You're just going to either believe me or not. But I'm not going to show the pictures.
Oh my God. Okay, so these seasons were long as hell. And I literally wrote them down because I was like, 4 seasons and it ran from 2006 to 2011. Like, I feel like there should have been more seasons.
Right.
Because that's a very long stretch of time. So I want to like just go through this list. Season 1, 2006 to March 30th, 2007. So that's a year.
Right.
These seasons would run through a whole year. And so the same thing with season 2, 2007 to 2008, 2007 April to 2008 November.
Okay.
So that one went a little longer. This is where it gets fucking insane. Is season 3. It started November 2nd, 2008. Guess when it ended?
Wait, when did the show end? 2011?
Yeah, but there was another season after season 3. This is just season 3.
2009? 2010?
Give me a month and a year.
Okay, wait, you said it started when?
November 2nd, 2008.
March 2010.
Yeah.
Really?
What the fuck? That's a long time. That's literally, you went from 2008 to 2010.
It is a long time, but you like had me like ready for it to be long.
Yeah, how insane is that though?
Oh my God,
and then in the middle of that, they had the movie release, like the actual movie, not the concert movie. The movie released April 10th, 2009. But then I was like looking at I was literally on IMDb for like 30 minutes just understanding like when these episodes came out. So like and there was a lot of like month gaps. There would be like 1 month where like
but I remember
like came on week. Yeah, you know.
They would be like, oh, there was no new episode. Like they're like, we'll be back in a little bit, and then they would come back at random times.
Yeah, and that was so weird.
And I would only know because my DVR would record it and be like, oh, it's back.
Yeah.
And what happened was Wizards of Waverly Place with all the Disney shows. I don't know what that's about.
How weird is that?
Maybe like summer break because these are kids. These are like kids that are filming and they're like
labor laws.
Yeah, probably because it's actually insane that like not even grown adults have to film this much now. There's like Game of Thrones is like 8 episodes a season or whatever.
Yeah.
And these are grown adults. So like to have kids working like 30 episodes a season, that's like actually insane.
It's crazy.
But I think a big part of the appeal about like not just Hannah Montana, but I think a lot of the Disney shows is that like there's like a secret. So like with Wizards of Waverly Place, it was like the secret was their wizards and like no one can know.
Mm-hmm.
With Hannah Montana, the secret was she's a pop star and nobody can know. And so this was like something that they would like drag along throughout the show because it'd be like all these supporting characters, there's like a handful of them that know and like they go finding out little by little.
They would absolutely take bits of Hannah Montana and like put it into like different parts, like Wizard's secret, and then Sunny with a Chance. Oh, she's famous, but she was like not famous, and then now she's
like
super
a country
famous,
girl.
but now she's an actor instead of a singer.
But I think that was really cool because like I don't know, cool. Maybe it's smart is the right word, but like I remember like at the end of I don't know if they did season finales, but they had like very rarely had episodes that
they would have like a 2-part ending.
Yeah. They very rarely had episodes that like actually affected the rest of the show. So I remember when they did have those kind of episodes, it was like a big thing. And so there would be the ones where like Emily finds out. I mean, Mitchell Mooser or Oliver, whatever, finds out about Hannah Montana, or like Hannah tells the guy, and she like takes off the wig in like the middle of the beach where like everyone can see. And like
you guys remember? Sorry, not to interrupt. You guys remember the episode where I think it was Lily, like somebody had fallen off a horse, Blue Jean or something. I remember that being the most dramatic thing ever. And like I just remember like waiting for the next episode, like seeing somebody died, because they made that like so dramatic. And I was just like, what is happening right now? Like somebody fell, like it was just something with the horse, and I was like, what is going on right now? Like it was just so crazy.
Do you remember if the movie, because it came out in the middle of season 3, I don't know if the movie had nothing to do, like it wasn't like the movie premiered and then in the season, like, oh, all of a sudden everyone knows that Miley is Hannah now. That didn't happen, right?
It didn't affect it, and that's what would make me so mad about the Disney Channel movies.
Point.
Yeah, this would always make me mad about the Disney Channel movies, was that like somehow there was no stakes, because like towards the end, and this I don't know how I knew this as a kid, but like I would know, I was like, towards the end you know that everything's gonna be fixed because it's not gonna affect the TV
That's
show.
scary that you knew that as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't know how to like
I don't know.
explain it, but I knew that like for example, Wizards of Waverly Place, all this stuff happens, but you know that at the end it's going to be normal, and it's like, oh, they just went on vacation, they're never going to address it in the show. And like in Hannah Montana, at the end when she reveals to her town, they're like, we'll keep her secret, so it doesn't actually affect.
Oh my god, yeah,
show.
That is how it ended.
It ends with her telling her just her hometown.
Yeah.
And like nobody leaked it.
And because it's like a small, tiny that would not happen today.
That would not happen.
Absolutely would not happen
Phones
today.
would be up, it would be on TikTok within seconds.
Because like when 2009 happened, people were still doing flip phones.
Yeah.
So wow. Yeah, that couldn't happen now. Wow.
And the little girl was like, we'll keep your secret. Do you not remember that?
No, I need to rewatch it.
I remember that.
What?
And I remember
the only remembrance I have is Lucas Till and Hold On, Throw Down.
Those are the
two core memories.
Taylor Swift is like sings a song in it.
She's in it?
In the barn scene, yeah.
Taylor Swift is in that.
How do I remember? I don't think I ever saw the full thing, but I remember
that. I literally, Hold On, Throw Down was like my brain capacity.
Yeah.
I think I was going to do it for like, I think I did it in like my choir class.
Oh my God.
I was going to say, wasn't Taylor also in like the ice cream freeze or that dance that they did too?
The what?
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember Taylor Swift being in any of this.
I
believe you. I believe you that she was, because they did a lot of that stuff, but like I just don't have any recollection of that. What? Anyways, I just want to just re-emphasize the cultural impact. Like there was albums. There was like 9 albums.
Yeah.
And then there was like a Hannah Montana clothing line. There was beauty products. Literally Walmart, Target, Linear 2, Justice, literally every single store you walked into, there was something Hannah Montana. And then there's video games. I didn't know how many there was 5 video games for Hannah Montana. Yeah, I remember the one that was like you had to protect the secret, and you had to like avoid Amber and Ashley, and you had to avoid, I don't know, it was crazy. And then literally Miley Cyrus had like a Walmart clothing line. Girl, I was all on top of that. I had my little pop star J14 magazines. I was like, when is this shit coming out? And I was there. And then they had like, there's like alarm clocks. Like if you go on eBay, like I go on eBay and look up like child TV shows a lot, like to like buy.
Same, because like vintage stuff.
Yeah, because it's stupid cheap, and there's an stupid amount. And then this is like an interesting quote I saw, because like when I read it, I was like, I didn't even register those two things together. But it's from the honeypot.com, and it says, and in case you're wondering if you've seen this type of success and anywhere else, it's because JoJo Siwa modeled her whole career after Hannah Montana. Strategy of having as many products with her name on them as possible, and just like Hannah, it has worked wonders for JoJo.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
Okay, I compared JoJo to Hannah Montana once, and I got attacked. Like, I was like, yeah, I was like,
what? I probably did it. I wouldn't doubt if I attacked you.
It was you.
Yeah.
But I didn't, I was like,
I wouldn't.
It was when
doubt that.
It's because I was like, she's the modern day Hannah Montana, because we were talking about, because when she came out. And I was like, this is like if Miley Cyrus or like Hannah Montana had come out when she was Hannah Montana.
Yeah.
At the peak of Hannah Montana. Like, that would have been huge.
I think you just needed to like plant the seed for me first, because I needed that reality to be shattered a little bit. And then me reading it in an article, I was like, okay, I get it. I think it's just because like.
You needed a balanced source.
Yeah.
Okay.
I needed it because like Hannah Montana was like everything to me.
Yeah.
So like somebody trying to like replicate her success did not sit right with my soul.
Okay.
But now, like, I don't know what happened in the past, like, months or something. Like, I just don't care as much. Also, like, it's not that deep.
It's not.
It's just cool that, like, and it's smart as hell on JoJo's part and, like, her team's part.
Her team is brilliant.
To, do that, because she's literally set for life. She could stop now, and I feel like she'd be okay for the rest of her life. I know she's not going to, but, like, good for her, you know? But I also think it's interesting because JoJo... I don't really know much about like what her show is about, but I'm assuming it's kind of like just her, like it's her personality.
It's like her dancing.
Yeah.
She also branded her dog.
Oh.
Bobo. It's like part of her branding.
That's
like
cool.
Every character needs like their little animal sidekick. So like I genuinely think that was part of the strategy. Like they got the dog to like market it as well, because there's plushies of the dog. There's like.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was like earth shattering, and I totally forgot that you said that to me, and I literally was like, absolutely not. But yeah, it makes 100% sense. I'm like still analyzing it in my head. And also like there's like so many catchphrases with this show. Like,
oh my God, are you gonna do them?
And like, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna say them.
I felt you like bracing to go.
Well, because like the first one, I'm just like, it's kind of awkward just to do it. It's kind of like, it's like basically like Jinx. Like when someone says something at the same time, they're like, oh, you Jinx. But then it was like the Mean Girl characters.
Amber and Ashley.
And they go, ooh. And I thought that was so cool. I hated them because they were like the enemy, but I was like, that is cool though. And I remember doing it. Like
everyone did it.
Yeah, me too. I would do it a lot.
And then Jackson actually was very funny. He would whenever he like wanted to get out of a conversation.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he said this until I read it, and he would be like, I don't really want to say it, but it's like
that's like. But I asked you, I was like, are you gonna do this?
I don't, because it's not funny unless you say it like full force, and I don't want to say it full force.
Okay, it just says good day. I say good day. You guys know.
Yeah. Good day.
Okay.
It's only funny in the context.
It is only funny in the context.
And then like sweet niblets and dang favet, and like there's like a whole thing. There's a lot more, but like every character had like a thing that they would do.
Right.
And like this kind of transitions into the next show we're going to talk about, which is iCarly. They did this as well, and also like they stole like love interest, as we said before. So like Jesse was like the other main love interest in Hannah Montana, and then in iCarly he was Griffin, which was like the bad boy, but he had the Beanie Babies.
That man had 2009 in a chokehold. He was in like music videos. He was in a bunch of sitcoms. Like
he was hot. He definitely was like the basis of like, this is my type. 100%.
100%. I don't think you're alone with that, honestly.
No.
I don't think you are.
I think there's a pipeline from like Jesse to like Timothy Chalamet. I mean, I don't really love Timothy. I like
Jesse to Timothy pipeline.
Yeah, because he played Kyle. Because in Lady Bird, Timothy Chalamet, I was like, whoa. Yeah. Not so much now. I really do like him as an actor, but like, you know.
So what Kim was
so
trying
tiny.
what Kim was trying to lead into was iCarly, which came out.
I think it's because it's so hot, like I can't breathe.
I can't breathe either.
Like,
but if I turn on the fan, you'll hear it. So we're just gonna have to suffer through it. So I hope you guys are having a good time because I am dripping sweat.
Yeah.
iCarly came out in 2007, just a year after Hannah Montana premiered, around 7 seasons all the way to 2012. And essentially, she was like the first YouTuber before like YouTubers were a thing. It was before
you. Yes. How weird is that?
I don't know, because this wasn't a thing. It was like, so essentially she had like an internet show called iCarly.
It was like literally on their own website.
This was not, okay, I don't understand how they came up with this concept because this was not a thing. There's no one that they could compare this to.
I think YouTube was like kind of around, but it wasn't like YouTubers on it. It was like viral videos of like people
it wasn't
slipping and stuff like that.
It was like America's Funniest Home Videos.
Yes.
Yeah. This is so weird. I don't know how they came up with this concept. But I love the show. The show is brilliant, I think. It's, I don't even know. Okay, sorry. I was looking at the cast right now, and for some reason I thought there was way more characters than this. But it's like Carly, Sam, Freddie, Spencer, Gibby, and Freddie's mom.
And that's the main cast, because I read there's more people, but I was like,
and Gibby's brother.
Really relevant.
Gibby's brother. But he comes up like later on.
Yeah. Well, because Gibby wasn't a main character until like the last 2 seasons.
Oh my god. You know what is interesting though? The actor that plays Gibby, Noah Monk, has said that like he didn't want to do the reboot because like being Gibby like traumatized him.
I know, that makes me sad.
That does make me sad.
Because his character was built about being the fat kid.
Yeah, it was a fat joke. But also it was, I don't know. The whole thing was weird because like he was like the punchline of so many jokes.
But they could have reclaimed it in the reboot.
They could have, but I just think he didn't want to do it. Okay, the fact that this show traumatized like 2 of the main cast is like,
it's so it's jarring. Yeah. But like it was such a good show.
Right.
Just fuck Dan Snyder, you know what I mean?
He's a weirdo. Like, what is with his feet fetish? Like, I really don't get it.
His and it's like prominent.
Yeah, it's like prominent. Every show that he does, like the feet, like he always somehow makes people like show their feet, and it's just like, I didn't even notice it until like I read that somewhere else, and then once I started watching the shows back, I was like, wait a minute, like there's a lot of like feet and like things like that. So weird.
And it's even weirder that they're all kids.
When I was a kid, I thought the joke was like, oh, it's because feet are funny, but like,
same.
Like the logo is a foot. Like his the logo, the Dan Schneider, it's like a little foot. Like it's just too prevalent where it's like not even Quentin Tarantino is this obvious about it.
No.
So I do think there's something there because I saw a lot of people being like, oh well, it's because like feet were funny, and I was like, no, I genuinely think there's something going on here.
Yeah, exactly. But also like, this show. I mean, we talked about it a little bit before when we talked about like, I think in the first episode of the season when I said like I was watching iCarly, but like, you know how like they would make like suggestive jokes and stuff, but like they couldn't really say anything because it was a kid show. But in the revival, like they actually kind of get into it a little bit more. Like Hannah Montana didn't really do that at all. Disney Channel shows did not do that, like pretty much at all.
No, Good Luck Charlie did sometimes. Where
really?
Good Luck, sorry, because I remember it's because Good Luck Charlie broke a lot of like the like rules that like other Disney shows had. Like the movie, like
there's a movie.
Yeah, like the one where they like go on the road trip and then like Teddy's like, they're like, we're offer someone this amount of money if you like can sell your seat, and Teddy was like, I'll do it, and then the mom like goes with her and they go on a road trip, and then
I've never seen that in my life.
One of my favorite Disney Channel movies because like the reveal like throughout the movie is that the mom is pregnant again.
What?
And so it actually has an effect because then on the next season of the show there was a new kid, like it was some EJ or DJ or some weird name. But like it actually had
oh my god, I remember like also that they let us pick the name like on the website. They like let us vote for the name of the kid.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think I aged out by then. I think that's when I was like on my way out.
Maybe. I was definitely supposed to be on my way out, but I was like, let me cling a little longer. And because I didn't even finish watching Good Luck Charlie. I don't know how it ended.
Yeah.
But I did watch the movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That is really interesting. And one thing that iCarly did a lot more than like Hannah Montana. Hannah Montana would have like fellow Disney Channel stars like come make cameos and like people in that world. Where for us, like iCarly would have like very prominent people. So it was like Fred was on season 2.
I do remember that.
I remember that being such a big deal because I really liked Fred.
Me too.
Growing up.
Me too.
Let's all try to like, because I feel like it's so cringy now, but like we all did because we all thought that was like fucking.
We thought
that was like peak funny.
And like Miranda sings like that those kind of characters. They were like big when we were younger, and like we don't have to pretend. We didn't
and
like
annoying.
I literally, yeah.
Oh my god.
I had a Fred shirt, guys. I think I had like 2. I had like a gray one.
Vintage Y2K.
I know. I wish I still had it, dude. I wish I still had it.
I'm sure you can find it for like $12 on like Mercari or something.
Oh, I'm sure. It's just so.
I think
funny.
iCarly. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think iCarly was like literally the reason why I started my own YouTube channel. Like, I'm not that like active on it now, but before, like, I would make random videos of, like hot or not, and then I'd take like a funky pen and be like, is this hot? And then I'd like compare it with somebody else. And I just remember like wanting to be a YouTuber because of iCarly.
Why did we all have the same childhood?
Yeah, everyone did.
Literally, I would upload my videos to Facebook because I wasn't allowed to go onto YouTube, and I still have them up. Like I can pull them up, I watch them every now and then.
Yeah, I remember I used to do like Club Penguin tutorials on my YouTube channel and like showing people how to do like hacks and stuff. Like I was one of those people.
That's so iconic.
That is iconic. And then I remember I got Sam's little remote that had like the sound.
Oh my god, I've always wanted that. I've always wanted one for like Christmas, but I never got one. That's so iconic.
Yeah, I definitely bought one and I used it.
Yes,
and I used it in my little Facebook show. Oh my gosh, iconic.
I do think it's interesting, like the guests they had on, like Michelle Obama, One Direction. That episode,
that was the best
iconic
episode.
Yeah,
the best.
He gets Harry sick or something.
Yeah,
so funny.
Jungle worms.
David Archuleta, Jimmy Fallon. I don't remember.
Season 6.
He was on iCarly.
Yeah, he had them on his show, I guess, or something, and like Tina Fey was also there for some reason.
I don't remember watching that
episode.
It's because I don't think we knew what Jimmy Fallon was.
No, so that might have been it. We're like, who is this man?
We thought it was a character, probably like something made up, because I don't remember. Oh my god, that's so fun. I don't know, but I do think it was also interesting how like iCarly, Sam, and Freddie were like famous, but they never, outside of the actual like thing.
Like at
they
school,
weren't famous. No one cared.
Which is great.
It's so interesting because like at school, no one cared.
But I also think that would happen nowadays. Like I feel like it would get brought up sometimes, probably at school.
That's true.
But like I feel like generally nobody gives a shit because it's like they've known you basically their whole lives. True. So it's like whatever, you know. But like they would have their moments in the show where they would go to like basically versions of Comic-Con and stuff like that, and like they explored that more towards the end, because I think towards the end of the show, that's kind of when YouTubers were starting to like there was more YouTubers than just like Fred and like Miranda sings and stuff, like and I thought that was so interesting to bring the fan aspect into it.
The one episode where they get kidnapped by the fan.
Oh yeah, that's I Go to Japan
by Nora.
Harry Shun. Oh no, I know who you're talking about. Nora.
No,
well, they got kidnapped so many times.
They did get kidnapped
multiple times. Yeah, because they were in like the basement or something with Nora, right?
Yeah, she like trapped them. Okay. Definitely.
Because she loved Freddie.
Yeah, iCarly definitely didn't glorify fame as much as Hannah Montana did. Oh, they were like, "You're gonna suffer because of this," and like Neville hated them for like no reason.
Oh yeah, well Neville, because Neville wanted to be with Carly.
Wait, you know what traumatized me? That one episode of iCarly where Neville like takes clips of them talking and has it sound like he made like Sam said like push your grandmother down, and it was like a scandal, like they got canceled. Like
they did cancel culture before cancel culture was a thing.
But this traumatized me so much. Like to this day, sometimes I'm like, oh my god, if I say this word, like they can use it and like edit, like it's still in my brain.
And people do that.
Yeah.
Still to this day.
So it's so scary. That episode traumatized me. Yeah. Obviously, like now it could be like, well, look, it's obviously edited.
Yeah.
But back then, like that was crazy.
Yeah.
Neville was terrifying.
Yeah, he was so scary. Tapenade, fucking like rue of the day. Like there's just so many random things, which like I guess I'll talk about this. Like their humor was so random.
Yeah.
Like what you said, like with your YouTube channel, you'd be like hot or not, and you would like hold up like a random
It
object.
was so weird.
Yeah.
Like, and that's funny though.
No,
That's
it is.
funny.
It's hilarious.
That's hilarious. So like they would do like butter socks and like Spencer like running gags. I literally looked on the iCarly Wikipedia
I love running gags.
love those things. And then yeah, Spencer catching everything on fire. Like literally almost every episode that like Spencer was prominent in, like you'd be like, oh great, and then it would just like random things would catch on fire. And then just Gibby as a character was just so interesting. And then Tebow putting things on sticks in wrong ways, and that was hilarious for some reason.
It was like the bagel sideways.
Yeah,
I was like, this is comedy.
I remember their ringer tees that would have like random things. Why did they not make that into merch?
I don't know. They should definitely do that at least now that the reboot is out.
That's what I'm like. Why aren't they doing that on the show? Why
Have
are they
even
still
brought
not?
it up?
No.
Oh my god.
And that was like my favorite
That's
thing.
Such a shame.
That's like my favorite thing. I was like, I want one.
Especially
so bad.
because they don't make any sense.
No, they would just be like two random fucking words.
Yeah.
And it was just funny for no reason.
Also, Freddie speaking Spanish.
Yeah, Freddie speaking
Spanish. And in the
Spanish.
series finale, he's like, "Oh, I speak Spanish," and then they just don't.
Everybody called Carly Prissy all the time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, I remember that so vividly because like I felt like I was very similar to Carly in like different ways. It was so weird. And
you relating to the main character always?
What can I say? I'm just kidding. But I also thought
have you guys tried making spaghetti tacos?
Yes. How did I forget about that? Yes, and they're so good.
They are. Yeah. It's fully carbs.
Yeah.
But it's delicious.
It's delicious.
It's the best thing.
I think it's because pasta's.
Really
yeah, I think it's because pasta's already like really good, and like it's
crunch
just crunch.
Factor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's stupid good for no reason.
They miss out on so many good marketing. Like. Yeah. With the reboot, I mean, like they could have had a pop up with spaghetti tacos. I don't know what. Can you imagine?
That is so smart.
Maybe they will. They will because I think it's gonna get a second season.
Paramount, if you're listening, you could steal it. Honestly, I don't even need to credit. Like, go ahead, do it.
Yeah, it's like it's honestly right there in front of your face. Like, just take it.
Have you guys watched the reboot yet? Because I haven't been able to watch it. What do you guys think about it?
I like it. I feel like that's an unpopular opinion. That's why I say it like kind of.
I feel like it's doing well though.
It's doing well because I just think it's interesting. In general, I was gonna talk about this on the pre-show, but like I just caught up on it, and I think it's interesting. This last episode that I watched was Freddie, and like we meet his ex-wife essentially, and she's Delilah from You, and
random.
I thought it was so cool that like because Millicent is like her daughter, and I was like, oh, Millicent is Afro-Latina.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, my mind is like blown for some reason. I don't know why, because there is like very minimal representation of Afro-Latinos in any media space. So I don't know. I just thought that was like super cool. And then I don't know. I like it. I think they're doing a good job of trying to like keep the same like charm of like regular iCarly while also like making it adults. I think everyone's just haters and they like hate on everything.
Yeah,
like Gossip Girl reboot, like they just of course the original source material you're gonna like have like a connection to like me with Hannah Montana, and you're trying to say Judges the same thing. Like you're gonna be very protective over the original thing because it's basically your inner child. So like your inner child is kind of like your inner child. You get defensive really easily and like manic at some points about it, but I like it. I don't know why everyone's such a hater.
Okay, this one I don't think I've seen a single episode of in my entire life.
No, I was gonna ask you guys what your favorite recurring sketch was.
For some reason, I thought Baby Spencer was the most hilarious thing to exist, and it's funny. I watched it back and I was like, I don't know why. I would die laughing at this.
I liked it. I liked random dancing because I just random dancing.
I do that a lot.
Or random. Was like used so much during this time of shows,
and we will see it like throughout, like so random on Sunny with a Chance. Interesting.
I thought it was funny. Tech Time with Freddie and like Sam would always cut it short. That was like the running joke where they'd be like, okay, no one cares.
Yeah, I do remember that. Like Freddie was like trying to get a little bit of the spotlight, and Sam would like not. But it also would frustrate me sometimes how mean they were to Freddie, and I was like, guys, this isn't funny anymore.
And he was such a nice kid.
Yeah.
Especially having like a mom like that, I would expect him to be like a menace to society. You know what I mean?
I don't know. Anyway, iCarly, we love you.
Yeah.
And the reboot. I guess. I haven't seen it yet, but I will. And I know I'm going to like it.
Yeah, I feel like just wait until it all comes out. I feel like it would be much better binge because, I don't know, iCarly just feels like a binge type of show.
Yeah, because they're short.
Yeah, it's such short episodes. Like literally 20 minutes long. Anyways, Total Drama Island.
I literally like barely know what this is. Like I only know because of like.
Yeah, same. I've never like. I think I watched like one episode, but I've never.
Trend.
Where did this? What?
I honestly thought this was a white people thing, so I'm surprised that you know.
What?
Where was this?
This is one of my favorite shows like ever. It's on Cartoon Network. Okay.
Was it on like Cartoon Network? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I didn't watch anything on Cartoon Network. Like not a single show.
Well, this is like the title of the episode. I Want to Be Famous. This is like that's their theme song. It's like
really? Oh, I know the song. Yeah.
Famous. And I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
So basically this show and like you know the show 16.
No.
You guys,
16?
What?
No.
Oh my god, we're gonna have a talk after this.
Wait, what's 16? Really
it's like it's a show. It's from the same people that made this show.
Oh.
And it wouldn't make sense unless you know the show, so I'm not gonna get into it. But basically, it's like a Canadian animation studio, and they basically like had a partnership with Cartoon Network, so we got 16 and Total Drama Island and I think something else, but I can't remember. But Total Drama Island was basically like a fake reality TV show that's basically a satire of like Survivor. It's basically Survivor but like with young adults, and they're cartoons. And it's actually getting 2 more seasons on HBO Max, which I found out yesterday.
How many are there? 5 right?
There's 5 seasons right now. And they're getting 2 more seasons on HBO Max, but I am so...
And like still for kids or...
I don't know. There's not like much about it.
Oh, okay.
So basically it got canceled, right? And I think in like 2018, one of the co-creators of this show said that it wasn't going to come back like ever, probably, which is like really sad. And then like in 2021, I think this got announced in February that it was going to get picked up on HBO Max, and I'm like so happy about it. Yeah, same creators.
Oh, okay.
And then I guess like something interesting that happens is like in the first season, the winner in the US was Owen, which is like this blonde Canadian guy.
Okay.
And it was between him and Gwen, which is the goth girl, and Owen wins. But apparently in different countries, Gwen wins. And I thought that was so interesting. I don't know why. I have no idea why.
Was it due to like who was
there's no explanation. It is what it is. I just thought that was really interesting.
That is cool, actually.
Yeah. And the first 3 seasons are this original cast that I have pictures of, which is I think are the most recognizable people for like people that know the show. But then the last 2 seasons they like had new casts. And my favorite season, I think you would like it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. The second season is Total Drama Action, and it's basically they are on an abandoned like lot in Canada. It's all based in Canada. Mm-hmm. They're on an abandoned like studio lot in Canada, and basically every single episode has to do with like a different genre of film, and they have to do like challenges based on that. And I just think it's so cool.
Wait, so is it on HBO Max right now or not yet?
I have no idea. I don't know if it's on streaming services.
Interesting.
It probably will be with this coming back on HBO Max. But I thought, I was reading up on it, and I remember watching something kind of in the last year where it was like, I don't know if it was like a fan thing or something, but there are cult fans for this show.
I'm not surprised.
And I mean, yeah, it makes
gives
sense
me like
now.
Gravity Falls vibes.
Yeah.
In terms of like level of fame.
Yeah. And so there's people that like literally make whole animated like spin-offs on YouTube. And there was like one where, because there's like the A plot, which is like the reality TV show, but because there's like recurring characters like on later seasons, there's like, and also like really sus things happen. Like Cody, he become, or is it Ezekiel? Ezekiel's not on here, but Ezekiel like is on the first season, and he becomes like a monster zombie type of thing. And Cody becomes like super ripped later. It's like weird because they're cartoon characters, but it's like they're also like made to be full 3D characters, like they evolve like actually in life. So it's like super weird. And so basically this like YouTube fan, I don't know if it's a fan video or like one of the creators made it because it was like stupid realistic. It was basically Chris, which is like the show host, is like evil because like he's basically torturing like a bunch of like young adults and stuff, and they're like in a lawsuit about it. So all of them kind of like reunite, and like you kind of see where like all of them are, because people didn't think it was going to get picked up again. So because we didn't have like an ending with the original characters, which I feel like are the characters that people like love and stan, I guess, it was like so interesting to like see that as an adult. And I also, one of the co-creators of the show said that he wanted it to go to like 10 seasons, and I agree, it should. But I also think because it's been so long and the people that watched us originally are now adults, I think it should be adult animation.
I agree, but I don't know if that, I hope that okay, here's the thing about the iCarly reboot. I really hope it changes things in terms of like how reboots are like, because I feel like a lot of times when they're making like reboots or remakes, they're marketed again. Like if the thing was originally a kid's show, it's going to be a kid's show again, which doesn't make any sense at all in the slightest, especially because like you already have a base audience for this. That's the whole point of a reboot remake. It's like you're going to automatically make money because
there's a built-in audience.
But then you're not catering to them, which doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's...
And, like, with the theming of the show, especially Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, I feel like they did, like, a lot more, like, raunchier jokes. Especially this one, like, I feel like it just should have been. There was, like, so much sexual tension in the show, and, like, obviously they couldn't really do anything about it besides, like, make them, like, date and kiss or whatever. Yeah. And I feel like it just would have been so much more interesting.
If it's on HBO Max, I definitely feel a bit more of an adult.
Yeah, because it just got picked up for 2 seasons. We don't know too much about like the reboot, but I really hope they go in the adult animation, because I just feel like it'd be so much more interesting, and like hearing them like actually cuss, because they cuss in the show, but they would like bleep it out. They would have like the black bar over their mouth and like do that kind of stuff, which was funny. But I would love to see these characters like actually cuss and like do that kind of thing. I don't know. I love the show, and there's definitely a cult following on it because I'm definitely on that side of TikTok.
Okay, very good. Okay, the next one. Okay, well, so these were like, I definitely feel like iCarly and Hannah Montana were like the ones that kickstarted everything, because from 2009 to 2010, all of these shows came out. So 2009, Sunny with a Chance. 2009, Big Time Rush. Glee, 2009. Victorious 2010, Shake It Up 2010, and then Austin Alley 2011. I don't know when Bizarre Bart came out, because I remembered that when we were talking about it, because it's like
I didn't add it to the list because I was like,
I just want to bring it up because
we'll bring it up at the end, because I want to talk about like what is on Disney Channel shows now. But I didn't write it on there because I wanted it to be like a surprise, but I ruined it.
A surprise. Anyways. Okay, so to start off with these shows, Sunny with a Chance came out in 2009. It ran until 2011. It only had 2 seasons.
Because this is when Demi
Demi
spiraled.
was not okay. Yeah. But then they had like 2 seasons of So Random, which was like the show that was inside of Sunny with a Chance.
Yeah.
I don't know how well this worked. It was like an SNL for kids, but I just don't think that kind of structure is like for children. I don't think. I think
it's just confusing when like the kids that are watching it, they were like, "Wait, what happened to Sunny?"
And not only that, but like
the behind the scenes part was so fun.
It was, and that was like the whole appeal of it, because like the So Random part of it was like nothing was actually happening. It was a skit show, but we weren't learning more about the characters. We weren't actually seeing the characters be themselves. They were playing characters, and like that was just, and I don't think it was the appeal of what Sunny with a Chance was. But basically, it's about this girl named Sunny. She gets casted in this show, So Random, and they're like on this set, and she meets all these new people. But then there's like a rival show, Mackenzie Falls, which like.
Like Dawson
At
Creek.
the time, yeah. That's what it was like supposed to be like. Or it was like a novella. They were making fun of it. They would show clips of it sometimes, and it was like over dramatic.
Yeah.
And they had like a rivalry like on the set, and it was just, I don't know. I think the show was a lot of fun because I do think it was very original compared to these other like well, I mean, they're all pretty original.
It was just kind of like a step up. So we got Hannah Montana with like the pop star or whatever, but like this, we got to like actually be on the set and like see these kids basically be famous. I think the show would have had a way bigger cultural impact if it went on for longer. I think it would have been a good like, kind of successor in a way to Hannah Montana, but because of like the unfortunate circumstances, like it just didn't. And it's so weird that there were only 2 seasons, because I just have so many memories about this show. And then I rewatched it because there's only 2 seasons, and I was like, wow, I basically know the entire show like front to back.
Yeah.
You know everything that happens.
Because I think because it was so short, like you cling on to that. So it was like season 1, she gets there, and like essentially like one of the big driving points of the entire plot is like will she get with Chad?
Yeah. Well,
I remember the kiss. Like that's in my head.
It was such a good like enemies to lovers build up.
Yeah.
They really egged it on.
Because Disney Channel didn't do something like this before, right? I don't remember any enemies. Other than like the whole like vampire Subway shop in Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
But that wasn't to the extent of like where they like were supposed to hate each other.
Yeah.
So this was a lot more. And Chad was like a jerk.
Yeah.
So this was.
But he wasn't at the same time.
Right.
Sunny got to his heart, and he was nice at the end. He was literally in So Random. He like changed shows.
Yeah. Which also like I remember how much it bothered me. I was like, so you're telling me that this entire cast just embraced their enemy from the.
It was a good slow burn.
Sure.
What else? Yeah, I basically said everything.
Yeah, there's not
because there's only 2 seasons, and it just makes me sad that like we were robbed of this.
Big Time Rush. This one is very timely because they just announced like 2 reunion concerts.
Yeah.
Like one in Chicago and one in New York. Big Time Rush ran from 2009 to 2013. 4 seasons in a TV movie. Is it the one where they go to like they go somewhere?
They don't go to Japan.
What's the TV
But they
movie?
loved going to Japan.
Shake
It Up went to Japan.
Wait, I'm gonna look up the TV movie because I remember it was a trip. Did they go to London?
I think it was London. Yes, it was London because it was like also at the same time One Direction was kind of big, so it was kind of like a nod.
Oh yeah.
And
the poster. Oh, they were spies.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember they mentioned One Direction in one of their episodes. Yeah, in like the end of the series. I don't know if it was the last episode or one of the last episodes, but they were like at a knockoff of Kids' Choice Awards, which is weird because it was on Nickelodeon. So like, why couldn't they? Anyways, that's beyond the point. But the girls.
I really. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I really love the editing of like Big Time Rush.
Yeah.
Like how whenever they like cut it like be a sound effect or like I just love it. It was like weird, but I've always just loved how they edited that show.
Like how like how every time like James had a thing, he would have like guitar riff.
Yeah.
Like small things like that.
It was kind of edited like YouTube videos. Like YouTube videos now have like weird like, or I guess maybe like YouTube videos like 5 years ago. But
like Emma Chamberlain vlogs.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of the vibe it was, which was really different to these other ones where they're more like, this is what's happening, and then little sound and cut to next scene. Mm-hmm. And that was
like
kind of
everybody had like a little jingle, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like I definitely James did.
And it was a very fast-paced show too, compared to these other ones. Like the comedy was like, okay, 1, 2, 3, go. It was very
5, 6, 7, 8.
It was like 5, 6, 7, 8.
But Joe and I think Camille were the ones like presenting the award. So and then One Direction won.
Was One Direction in it?
No, they didn't show One Direction, but One Direction won the award over Big Time Rush, which is funny because that happened.
That's so funny.
That was the only story I had, I think.
Wasn't there a moment where they like had a cardboard of One Direction or like they had a cardboard of somebody, I think, at one point.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
Well, it's because Big Time Rush like would always be compared to One Direction and like the American like knockoff version, and they like leaned into that, which I think was the best way. It
was smart because you could because I love One Direction, but I still love Big Time Rush as well. So I thought it was funny that like my worlds are colliding.
I think the thing with Big Time Rush is that like the show was better than like the music itself. So like I genuinely think that. I can name like 3 Big Time Rush songs.
Tim's face.
And like that's why like when they announced the concert, I was like, man, well, because like with the Jonas Brothers, it's the opposite. The band got famous and then they gave them a show. Whereas with Big Time Rush,
One Direction?
No, sorry, Jonas Brothers.
Oh, I was like, One Direction.
No.
They could not act for their lives.
No, they could not. We all saw that Icarly episode. Sorry, Harry. We know you're like on your acting thing, and he's also not listening. Whatever.
But he can afford acting lessons now, so he has no excuse.
Yeah, that's okay. But with the Jonas Brothers, it was like they were famous as a band.
Okay, yeah. I get.
So like when they announced the reunion concert, I was like, yeah, I know a lot of their songs. But like with Big Time Rush, I'm like, I know the theme song and like one.
Yeah, like I never like really listened to the
I would rather have like a reboot of the show where they're like all adults.
Maybe
and with
this
kids.
will lead into it though.
I hope so.
Because I think maybe with the concert they're just kind of like testing the waters.
That's what it seems like because there's only 2.
Yeah, and I think all of them are so down to do a fucking reboot of the show.
Yeah.
I think even like maybe if it was just like kind of like a 1-season show or like even like a movie that's kind of like picking on reunion tours of bands, you know how that happens. I feel like that could be interesting. We could just get like a catch up or something.
Because the promo for the concert was funny. It was like none of them wanted to do it, and like the narrator was like trying to drag them back into it. I think that alone is a great premise for a movie, as opposed to a concert. Unless the concert is more of a show, like I don't know.
Well, I think also we're just like kind of children TV show reboot like heavy. So I think it's smart that they're doing the concert to kind of gauge the water, and
because then they can use those clips in the TV show.
Yeah, exactly. So, to be a lead up from it. I rewatched the first season of this as well. It's weird that I rewatch all these TV shows because I can't watch anything new. It's a toxic trait of mine. But I thought it was I forgot that in the first episode, Kendall did not want to do that at all, but he was the only one that Gustavo liked. So, and also like that made me like Kendall a lot more. I was kind of a Kendall hater. I won't lie.
I just thought he was boring. Oh my god, you know what I just remembered? Was James.
Logan was my favorite.
James was the one that was where
I love Logan.
Wait, which was Logan? The nerdy one? Quote unquote. Okay, I remember I wanted to be James so bad, and I literally have pictures of me and like
he carried the songs.
No, yeah. I would wear like a red t-shirt and then like a vest on top because I wanted to be James. And I have pictures. Again, will not pull up receipts.
On the Instagram story?
Because I have long hair and I have my little transition glasses. Like,
oh my god, please, on the Instagram story.
If I find them, I'll post one. Like
for my Instagram story, you don't have to.
For my birthday party, I think we went to go watch the Hunger Games and I dressed up like James from Big Time Rush because I was like, I am fashion.
Oh my gosh.
That's so embarrassing.
I need to see the picture.
But also, who dated Joe?
Kendall.
Oh. I had a crush on Joe for some reason, and I think
she was such a cool girl.
Yeah.
She was the cool girl. She was so chill. I loved her.
What a good, interesting show. I should rewatch it.
It's honestly a really good show. I'm gonna finish rewatching it.
Okay, the next one, and wait, any last thoughts on Big Time Rush?
I just wish James got his flowers more in the show.
Oh yeah, I agree. Because he did like a joke a lot of the times.
Yeah, but he was the most talented out of all of them. To be honest, he was like carrying the runs and shit, and like he had the range.
He was the cat of the show.
Yeah, and like I get like what they're trying to do. Like James is like the typical boy band type, so he couldn't possibly be the leader because we're different and whatever the fuck. But like, I think James was played off as like the dumb character too much, and I feel like he had a little bit of a spark for him.
Okay, the next one that you had on, I honestly was very...
wait, another thing about Big Time Rush. So I didn't know this, but they filmed on Paramount lot.
Oh, yeah.
And when I went on the tour there, the girl was like, any Big Time Rush fans? And I was like...
You're like, woo!
I was like, yeah. It was like me and Riley. Oh. It was me and Riley. And we were like, yeah. And she's like, this is Rock Records. And I looked up and I was like, full connection. And then like the lady was like, oh, and this was in Big Time Rush too, and I was like, mine.
It's because like I think we said this before, but Paramount Studios is the only studio that looks like a studio.
Yeah.
Like a typical like Hollywood movie studio, because like Universal is a theme park.
I think because part of it was owned by Lucille Ball at one point, so I think that's probably why.
That makes sense.
I heart Paramount. Anyways.
Okay. Back to what I was gonna say. The next show that was included on here. At first, it was like I was gonna argue with this, but then I was like, I actually do want to discuss this
because of what I put.
No, for so many reasons. Well, let's just bring it up. Okay, so Glee, 2009 to 2015.
I love Glee.
Yeah, like we are
Glee shaped me. Glee shaped me.
It was the blueprint.
And so I was like, no, this doesn't count because they don't get famous till like the end of the show. But it's still okay because
plants the seed.
This one is like so different because it's not on Nickelodeon or Disney. It's not a kid's show. It's definitely for like a more adult audience, and they're like not famous until like maybe the end of the show when they
like the very end of
when
the
they
show.
Lost like much of their fan base at that point. So I was like, I was gonna argue with this, and I was like, no, this doesn't count. However, this somehow still had the same effect. Because it was like a step up. It was like you graduated from
That's
Disney
so funny
because
I was going to say that too. I was like, it's not typical, but it still planted the fucking seed.
It did. And because like, it was like so these kids, I mean like us, like we stopped watching Victorious, all these kid shows. So the next step up is like Glee, where the jokes are the jokes are much more adult and the situation much more adult. But it has the same energy as like a kid's show.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Glee. Like, I think it was like genuinely, not even being dramatic, like why I am the way I am today. Like, I don't know why I was 9 years old watching that Like a Virgin episode with when they were doing that whole thing. Could not tell you why. I should probably not have been.
When we had Bridget on the show, she was like literally Glee also like it because it's like the pipeline from musical theater student or Glee watcher to musical theater student to like fucking theater major in college. There is a pipeline. Yeah,
that's how it happened to me. Like, I went to performing arts high school because I'm from New York, so I went to a performing arts high school, and it was like in Times Square, and it was so cool because it was just like I was living my Glee moment, and we had to like sing and dance and act, and it was all a part of like our curriculum and stuff. But I always just looked up to Glee because it was just like, wow, like they not only did they have like the musical part and stuff, but they also had like also kind of like a normal typical like high school experience, which I never got to experience. Like, I didn't even have like a gym in my school, so we had no like football games or something. So like my first like football game ever was at like Kowloon, and it was just so interesting because I looked up to Glee so much, and like I kind of got to live that. And then I was this like theater person because of Glee, so I always just, that show has a really big like place in my heart.
I really did like, I feel like kind of save like musical theater programs at the time.
100%.
Like Glee led to Pitch Perfect, led to multiple reality TV shows about like a cappella groups, like and like it's just so interesting because like I feel like a lot of people that love musical theater that are like our age, 9 times out of 10 watch Glee. And that's kind of like what started like their journey.
I think the way it ties into like this topic specifically is that like the climb to fame didn't happen on the show, it happened off the show. So like all these kids that were like high schoolers, much like the people that were watching it a little bit younger, they were not necessarily like they looked a lot more like it was a more diverse cast. Yes, it's not that diverse still, but like there was
at the time it was like
at the main
time, we got everything in here.
There was a Mercedes who was a Black woman, and she was like extremely talented. Then there was Kurt, who was like a gay man, and like he like was out about it, which was like crazy again for the time. And so like for these kids who were like quote unquote average kids who like were bullied and picked on by the school, to then outside of this in real world become like huge famous pop stars that went on tour. They had like concert tours.
It was like much more relatable.
And it happened in real life as opposed to like in the show like these other ones. So it's like I don't know,
it hit different.
That's why I was like, okay, we should talk about this because it's the same effect, it's just very different.
I do think one thing that like still hurts my soul to this day is like how Rachel, she finally got to Broadway, right? But then like she kind of abandoned everything to be on like a sitcom show, and I just was like, man, that makes me sad.
I think it's because they had to just keep the show going.
I know.
Because it doesn't make sense for her.
It didn't make sense for her character at all. Like she was very much like a purist when it came to like musical theater. You know what I mean? I also think it's like a crime that we didn't also see Mercedes climb to fame.
I honestly think it's because it's weird what characters and actors they chose to focus on.
It's not weird. Exactly.
I have nothing else to say.
We know there's underlying factors to like why. And like I think like the reason why we don't want to talk about it because we talked about it so much beforehand. But it's just a disservice because it's like on the forefront you have all this diversity, but then when it comes to actual characters that like get to see more development outside of high school, where are the POCs? Like Santana was like the only one, but also she like fought her way through that. You know what I mean? So I think I'm just sad because Mercedes, like I said, like Mercedes is just as talented, if not more talented. She's talented in a different way. Like Kurt and Rachel wanted to do like musical theater, like that kind of stuff. But Mercedes wanted to do like pop music and R&B music, and I thought that would have been such an interesting thing because this is like a pre-Lizzo time period. Like the only like plus size R&B artist we had at the time was kind of like Jennifer Hudson, I would say, perhaps. So I thought that would have been so interesting to see. It would have been
a really cool plot to follow through with.
But that's just not what we got. So
Anyway, that's all I have to say about Glee.
Yeah. We talk so much. It's like Glee and Jane the Virgin. We burn out the really amount of things we could say about it.
Nothing else to say.
Yeah.
But the next one is Victorious. Speaking of your performing arts high school experience.
Yeah. You have an interesting viewpoint. You can talk about like if it's like actually kind of accurate or not.
Because I actually wanted to go to performing arts school, even though I know I can't do any of these things.
Same.
I just wanted to include it.
I mean, like I could sing.
I can't act. I can't.
Yeah.
I could do like tech if that's a part of it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. There we go.
Well, Lost Dreams.
Yeah, I don't care anymore. So Victorious ran from 2010 to 2013. It had 4 seasons, way too short.
Yes.
And it
one of the best shows ever.
Genuinely one of the best shows.
And it holds up to this day. Like I could like if I could only watch one show for the rest of my life.
I agree. Yeah.
Victorious.
Because it's like
dead ass.
It's no thoughts had empty to a point, but it's not like you don't feel like you're wasting your time. Because their characters are still evolving and they're still having a good time. It's genuinely so funny. There's we love ensemble cast on this podcast.
Yes,
we've said it so many times. And this cast is incredible.
I saw a video, I think it was on YouTube or maybe it was an article that I read. I thought it was so interesting with Kat's like character development between like season 1 and like the next season, like how they just switched her up so much because I think in like season 1 she was very like she was like about her stuff, you know, like she didn't take anything from anybody, and then season 2 she was more like, oh guys, like I'm buying this, doing that, whatever, and they made her so like ditzy, and she was not like that in the beginning. So I really wonder why like they decided to make the switch, or like I don't know. I just thought it was really interesting to see that development with her character.
Yeah, because it's not only in terms of the writing for Kat, but I think also like visually, like the way she's styled in season 1.
She was like wearing heels.
Yeah, compared to like 2, 3, 4, she's a completely different character.
Flats.
Yeah. But I
like
do
kid,
think,
like,
there's a little weird things there, but I do think that like I almost prefer the 2, 3, 4 version of Kat because it gives Ariana more to work with. I think
because I feel like if they kept her like how they had her in season 1, it would be too similar to like kind of Jade.
Yeah,
I feel like so maybe they needed just like add an.
They definitely, they leaned into the stereotypes of the characters, or I guess the tropes more, which I think definitely helped the show.
Yeah.
Like Jade got more emo, Kat got more like, oh, I'm the ditzy, whatever, and Trina's got more like not talented as the show went on. And so I think that
bullied Trina. Was it warranted?
I would be Trina. If I went to a performing arts high school, I'd be Trina. They'd be like, how did he get in here? Genuinely. Did you have to audition to get in there?
Yeah, I had to prepare a monologue. I had to prepare like 16 bars, and then I had to dance. Cannot dance. I actually had to audition twice to get into my school because the first time they did not accept me, and then I was like, you know what, like this, I really want to go to the school, so I auditioned again my sophomore year, so I transferred, and that was like a whole thing. But I am honestly like so grateful that I graduated from my school because it was such an amazing experience, and I met like so many kids. But on top of that too, like on the like I feel like I missed out on so much kind of because I as I said, I didn't have like that high school experience, and like my school, like I graduated was with 60 kids. Like that was like we knew everybody. There was only like 300 or like 200 kids max in my entire school, and it was just like it was a very unique experience. But I feel like I'm glad that I went through it because it was something that really like made me who I am today.
Do you feel like watching Victorious, do you feel like it was an accurate representation of a performing arts high school, or do you think they were just making things up left and right?
Honestly, no. Honestly, it's pretty similar. Like, I don't know if you guys like would do this in high school, but for example, like in psychos class, like they would do a bunch of like assignments where they'd had to like include acting in it, or like for example, if in my history class, like we would get the option to like make a rap or like make a song about this, what happened, and like make a music video, or like just be really creative with our assignments in that way. And we also had a bunch of like assemblies, and like we also every spring we did a musical, and every fall we did a play, so that was always something that was going on as well. And literally during those times, like for example, I don't know if you guys know the show Pippin. That show, literally when the sides came out and everything, you would see everybody in the hallways like practicing the dance or like practicing the like it literally felt like I was in a movie or something. I was just like, oh my god, like everybody is like just doing
so envious of that experience.
That's so fun.
Like, I would take that over a high school football game any day.
I went to 2.
Like, just make a friend at someone, like, I feel like it's easier in California because, like, there's more space for, like, football fields and stuff. I don't really know.
Yeah, but I feel like also with, like, our college, like, it's so sad because I came from, like, this theater, like, thing.
Yeah.
And, like our
college doesn't give a fuck about.
It does not give a fuck, and that's literally why I wanted to be a film major because I was like, like theater, literally in an old basketball like thing, like they don't care, and it's so sad, but there's nothing I can do anymore.
I like watching the basketball games at Calu. Football games are a snoozer though. I just don't get it. I just don't understand football. Like I don't think, like sports. People have explained it to me, and like I'll get it in the moment, but as soon as I leave, I'm like, well, there goes my knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's more fun like getting ready for the football game rather than like watching it because
the experience.
Like getting ready with your friends.
Yeah, and like the food, and you're there, and you're just talking. Yeah, because barely anybody's paying. Like only the actual football fans are paying attention. I don't think anyone of like the students, they were not paying attention.
No.
They're like, something happened, cheering, but then they go back to talking.
Yeah,
it was just an excuse to hang out. That's so interesting, though. Anyway, I miss Victorious.
I miss it so much. It was such a. I'm sure, like.
The only way we'll get a reboot is if they get Ariana to sign on, and I wonder if she'd do it. But yeah, that's pretty much all about it. I have genuinely no complaint. Well, some jokes are a little outdated, but whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, but if you watch like anything, like even like I was like watching Scooby-Doo, like the live action, and I was like, this is a perfect movie. And then like I was like, I feel like it aged well too. And we were watching it, and I was like, there's like a joke here and there, but
you just have to remember what time it came out.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, that was Victorious. I still love it. Please bring it back. Shake It Up ran from 2010 to 2013.
Well, also because in Victorious they didn't have a solid ending. Oh, that's the thing. I was like, why am I forgetting about it? Yeah. But I was like reading about the ending, and like even Victoria Justice like has nobody really knows why it ended. Like there's definitely something sus.
Well, I've heard like rumors.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about the rumors because I feel like it's not like there are so many different ones that I'm like I don't.
Yeah, this isn't a conspiracy theory podcast.
Yeah, but I just think it's and like everybody on the cast was like shook about it. Everyone was like, "What?" Because it was so very popular, and like the fact that it didn't. And even in Sam and Cat, they made a joke about it. Like, how could you give a show like not have a great season finale?
Yeah,
and I was like, girl, T, what the hell happened? Like, we'll never know, and it makes me really sad.
I know. You know what's funny though? I remember they were like, "Oh, series finale of Victorious!" Like they were announcing it. They were pushing in the promos. And I remember, like, I don't even remember graduating from middle school, but I remember watching the series finale of Victorious. Like, I remember sitting on the couch and just, like, it comes on, and then they're on the little tricycles, and then it just ends. And I was like,
what?
What do you mean? Because the iCarly ending, like, I think that's the only thing I had to compare it to in terms of Nickelodeon shows. Sense. The iCarly ending had an ending. iCarly moves, there's, like, Sam goes off on her bike, and, like, there is an ending. Whereas Victorious, it just stopped. The episode just stopped. And it makes me so sad. Anyway, is that all you had to say about it?
I'm not gonna bring up the Tori Vega treatment.
No,
like main character.
No,
but
we can do that another.
The side characters are definitely carrying the show. Anyways.
Yeah.
We know that. Though.
Shake It Up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone's on that.
Yeah, everyone agrees.
Yep.
Shake It Up ran from 2010 to 2013, 3 seasons and a movie. What movie?
I didn't know. That's why I have question marks. I didn't know that there was a movie. It was like. Yeah, it was basically like
didn't they also go to Japan or something? Like they
went to Japan. They went to Japan, and the song I watched the song they performed, and I was like, "Ooh, this is basically all just stereotypes about Japanese people."
Wait, I do remember this, but it wasn't a movie. It was like just a 1 hour episode.
It was a long. It was it was 90 minutes. It was a 90-minute episode. So like it was basically a movie, but they didn't push it like a movie. They just pushed it as like a special. Because
I think we could compare it more to like the iCarly, like I Go to Japan, or like one of those iCarly like. Quote TV movies instead of like because the Wizards movie, the Good Luck Charlie movie, even Hannah Montana and like those had like theatrical not all of them had theatrical releases, but they had like higher budget.
Yeah.
Like the camera quality was better. It was like a film like an actual movie, whereas these were just longer episodes of the TV show.
Yeah, it was like shit quality the video I watched. So I just wanted to mention this because it was like it's different. Like we got the singer, we got the actors, now we got the dancers. And because this came on because it was dance reality shows were so popular at this time. So like So You Think You Can Dance, America's Dance Crew, Dancing with the Stars, and then Dance Mom premiered in 2011. But I thought it was interesting that no girls from Dance Moms came onto the show.
Maddie Ziegler wasn't on it?
No.
She was on everything. She was on Pretty Little Liars at one point.
I know. Because I looked at a list and it was like a bunch of people from So You Think You Can Dance and America's Best Dance Crew, which is like, that was one of my favorite shows, was America's Best Dance Crew. And like, I would have full-on conniptions because a lot of the crews from there would come. I think there was like 10 of them that came on to Shake It Up at one point or another.
Was the Blue Man group on an episode of Shake It Up?
Probably.
I have an image of them on the set.
I wouldn't doubt that, no.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
It was so weird. And like, I remember the show, like I watched it just because like it was on, but like I was already at the age where I was like, I don't really want to watch this anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of stopped watching, but it did introduce a lot of people to Zendaya and like Bella Thorne.
So I thought it was really interesting in the show that they put Rocky as the smart one and Cece as like the dumb one. I just thought that was like kind of something that you haven't seen on television.
It's kind of like Sweet Life, what they did with Maddie and London.
I think what I read was like it was like the first buddy duo that was a girl. Like it was two BFFs at the forefront of the show. That's what I read. I don't know if that's true. I don't know, a Disney Channel show at least. And
well, because there was a lot of buddy shows, but they were all guys. There was Zeke and Luther, there's Pair of Kings, but it was two guys.
Yeah, so this was like the first girly show. So I thought it was interesting to see like two BFFs like that, and then just like see them actually be equals.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like that was something we were missing in Disney Channel shows, is like they would have the main character and then like the best friend, but like it was basically the best friend's personality trait was kind of like abiding by like the main character friend, and like maybe one episode they would have like an issue that the main character would have to help them, but in Shake It Up it was like pretty equal on like their issues and stuff like that. So
and this was weird because I think it was kind of like iCarly, where it's like they were on a popular TV show, but it didn't really affect their day-to-day life that much. Like they weren't actually famous, you know? So it was, I don't know.
Because it was just like a local TV
like Hairspray. It was like the modern Hairspray.
That's what I was going to say. It was like Hairspray. That's what I was thinking.
But I also think it's interesting that like with Zendaya and Bella Thorne, they have like, so like usually we see Disney Channel stars go down one path or the other. And Zendaya and Bella Thorne each went down completely different paths. Yeah. And I think they like show.
I think it's interesting also because they kind of aligns with their story. They're like characters in the show. Now. How weird is that? I mean, it's definitely like just a coincidence.
It is just a coincidence, but
I also think that's really interesting. But like they're both very successful people, just in like different ways.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It kind of felt like a fever dream, this show.
Okay, this era of Disney Channel, I think it's because we were aging out of Disney Channel. But like we were still like, it would sometimes be on because like we were still like, well, should I still watch it? Because like that's what all we knew. So I think like this Shake It Up, Austin and Ally is like, you're like, well, I did watch it, but I don't ever remember sitting down to actually watch this.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I had a crush on Rashawn Fagan and Adam Irgoyen, but I was definitely a lot more embarrassed about my crush on Adam Irgoyen because Deuce as a character on the show was so embarrassing.
Yeah.
It was so cringy.
He was.
He was so sad. I just think about like him having like his headphones always, and they're like bulky ass headphones.
No, but you know why I think it's embarrassing is because we knew people in real life that were like that, and they were embarrassing, and so it's just like we like were projecting onto this character.
I'm sure he grew up to be really cool though.
In the show or in real life?
And like if the show was like real life, he would be like a cool guy now. Like he would have been.
That's such a specific thought.
I don't know. I always think about that though. Like shows, I'm like, okay, what did they do after?
Yeah.
Like how did they grow up?
Oh my god! Speaking of how did they grow up, I saw this thing that like the One Last Time music video that Ariana Grande made, where it's like the end of the world or whatever, and the guy that played Robbie was like her love interest in that thing, and she was like, it was kind of like my goodbye to the characters because like they never got their ending.
Yeah.
That's so cute. I just remember that.
I love Matt Bennett.
Okay, anyways. Oh yeah, that was Shake It Up. And then the last one we have is Austin and Ally. Again, very different to like these other ones. This one was
it's like boy Hannah Montana though.
It's what?
He was like boy Hannah Montana.
Yes, but I think it was,
that's a good point.
Yeah, but it was like they would also shine a light on like songwriting. That's what I think made
was the difference. Yeah.
So like it was starring Ross Lynch and Lauren.
God, but Ally was such a fucking annoying character.
Yeah, she was.
She was so unlikable. Like I was not rooting for them to be together because me
either.
Her character was so mousy, but in a bad way. You know what I mean?
She was just she was just like
no hate to Laura Marano.
No, she did a great job,
Yeah,
and like I've seen her in other stuff, and she's great. But,
yes,
like, in this, like the character of Allie was just written really annoying, and like Rainier Rodriguez and Callum Worthy, like I think they were just so much more interesting characters. Where like she had a new job every episode. Yeah, it was so funny, and like I don't know, Callum Worthy was just kind of like, or his character, what was his name? Des.
He made all the music videos and stuff, so he was like a filmmaker. He was
like the tech.
Yeah,
and
he was Freddie.
And Trish was supposed to be like the
manager,
but like she sucked at business. I don't know. It was a good concept. I think it went on for 4 seasons, so I think it did pretty well.
Yeah,
the songs were good. I think the songs were good.
I don't really remember any songs. So I think I watched like the first and second season, and then like it was like when I was like aged out. Yeah, like I was clocked out. So I think I only watched like the first 2 seasons, I would say. So I was like, okay, how did it end? Because I don't remember how it ended. So I looked it up, and I really like how it ended. So basically, this is how it progressed. First season and second season were basically like Austin is like the star, right? And Allie kind of like is still too shy to like get a grip. And then season 3 is when Allie becomes a more like famous one, and she's like at the forefront of the story. Oh. I know. I was like, damn, maybe now I gotta watch it. So maybe I'll like Allie now, you know? Because I think like she was just so agonizing in the first 2 seasons. So I think I kind of do remember her like when they were kind of like getting closer and like the romantic storyline was kind of more at the forefront. She was kind of getting more comfortable, I think, because she was around people like she was comfortable around. She was just like introverted to the max, but like also so scared of everything. And I don't like, I think that's important for like main characters to have, but it took a minute for her to get out of that. And then season 3 she was at the forefront, and season 4 they all come back together. And you know, like how they all worked in that record store, that was like kind of like the place was the record store. They basically made the record store into like a music school, and they all like basically help kids like get into music.
Hold on,
and I thought that was so nice.
Was Allie, when she was a pop star, was she like a Lady Gaga, like with like?
I don't know,
because I don't know. I have an image in my head right now.
Maybe that was one episode.
And it's like Allie, like in like a maybe I'll say
that was probably like a thing. They wanted her to be like Lady Gaga type, and she's like, that's just not how I am.
You know what? That might have been what it was, but I never saw it. I just saw like the trailer of it. I can't find it. I feel like I'm right on like that's probably how it went. Yeah, that tracks. I don't know. Okay, but that is a good ending.
Maybe it was like when she was gonna perform with Austin or something.
I think.
Yes, that's what it was. Yes. Because they didn't list, I think they didn't like her. No. The label didn't like her. Yeah, because they signed to different labels. So I read like they signed to different labels, and because they were like, I think they were together at this point, and they wouldn't let Austin write songs with Allie because there were different like labels. So
that's a very mature plot line for a good show.
I know, right? I was just reading this and I was like, okay, maybe I need to watch this show. So Austin left his thing to like so he can write label? To like write with Allie and stuff. Okay, that's why we love Ross Lynch. So.
Yeah. Well, okay.
But yeah, I think it sucks because we all love like a romantic storyline, right? But I think they lost an opportunity just to be BFF, platonic, male, girl. Boys and girls can be friends. Because I think that's something that, like, Disney lacks severely. Yeah. Or kids' TV shows in general. It's like if a boy... And I think that translates to life. That's why a lot of people have this narrative that, like, boys and girls cannot be just friends. Yeah. Even though they most definitely can. You guys are just weird. And, like, how a lot of men pick their friendships based on how their friend looks, which is, like, so bizarre. What I'm trying to say is that I think children's media needs to show more actual platonic friendships that never, like, there's never really any feelings, romantic feelings involved. Because those friendships do exist and can exist. And, like, I think... they really do give everybody like a warped perception of how you can be friends with other genders. And I think that's just so weird. Honestly, like you can be friends with other genders and not want to date them. Like
looking back at these, I think the only one that did that was Sunny with a Chance. Because, okay, Hannah Montana, didn't Lily and Oliver have a thing for a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, and then I don't know about Total Drama Island. Big Time Rush, there definitely was, that was the whole point of the show. Glee, they all dated each other. Victoria's, there was like weird episodes where like Tori would like
try to get with Beck.
And then with the other guy, and it was just like there's a lot going on. Yeah. Shake It Up, I don't know, I didn't see that far. And then Austin and Natalie, they had Trish and Des get together. I do know that.
Yeah.
So interesting.
And Austin and Ellie.
And Sunny with a Chance, it was like Sunny was only interested in Chad, right?
Yeah, but that's at the forefront. What I'm saying
That's
is
true.
like a boy and a girl being friends just platonically, and they're the main characters.
Oh, okay.
Like straight up.
Yeah, no, nothing.
Yeah. So that's my only quip with like Austin and Ally. I feel like that could have been really good, and like, I mean, it was like the perfect thing. It was kind of like a business relationship in a way, and a creative relationship, and you can
add in side interests.
Yeah, it just makes like it just perpetuates this idea that like if you have a strong connection with somebody and they're of, I guess, like the gender that you prefer to date, you need to be together, which is not the case. You can have like platonic soulmates and stuff like that, and you can have. That's why I think everybody has such a weird. Everyone has different takes on friendships and relationships, and I just feel like we need a platonic male-female friendship, I guess, and they could have done this to Austin and Ally.
Yeah,
they didn't. I don't really know. I think this one didn't really affect me that much because I was older, but I thought it was like. I feel like younger Gen Z. This was like a show.
Yeah, our Hannah Montana and like iCarly. I feel like Austin Valley and Shake It Up is theirs.
But I also feel like it was everyone was kind of burnt out about these storylines by then because there was so many.
Yeah.
You know. Anyways.
The last one, I have no clue what it's about. I just know the basic premise.
Okay, I know what Bizarre Bark is about.
Okay, so Bizarre Bark, go ahead.
It's basically.
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh. How many seasons is it?
It's like 4, I think.
Oh, interesting.
But it's just like I would watch it while I was doing other things.
Oh, okay.
Because it's just a kids TV show. And it's basically like they're YouTubers. They're YouTubers, and then basically it's if like YouTube like headquarters, once you got like a certain amount of followers, you would go there and like it was like you would make the YouTube videos at the studios. But people don't do that in real life. But that's why Jake Paul was in it, and why the white girl that was like the fashion blogger, I don't even know her name, and I watched the whole thing. That girl, like it was basically that's why they were always all together, is because they would film at basically YouTube headquarters.
Okay.
So that's why
I remember
it was like kind of Ant Farm, but like they weren't at school; they were at a studio.
But
they also went to school.
Like I can see the set in my head.
It's so weird because they also went to school. They went to like a private school or something.
Oh,
so
together?
They were, yeah.
Oh, why didn't they just make a YouTuber school?
Who knows? I have no idea. But it was okay. I think it's because I watched it when I'm like a literal whole ass adult, so I'm just like,
it's too late for that.
I have no connection to this, but I just wanted to see Olivia Rodrigo in it, to be honest, and Madison. So yeah, and it was also really jarring to watch Jake Paul be Disney Channel friendly. Jarring as fuck. How did you watch it?
I watched like some episodes, like I know the plot, but I never like fully got into it because I was already out of like Disney Channel like phase during that time.
It's basically iCarly but Disney Channel version. So take that as you will. But that's basically what it is.
It feels like a mashup of every single like elements from all of these shows.
It is.
But then YouTubers.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep. That's basically it.
But I feel like this definitely
I think it's important though because it's like a true reflection of like YouTubers at the time, because the reason why Jake Paul got casted in the show is because he was a real life YouTuber.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought he became famous because.
No, because him and his brother were like Viners and YouTubers. And so that's like I think they wanted like an actual Viner YouTuber to be on the show.
Was Logan Paul in an episode? Because I remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's interesting to see the evolution. When you take a step back, you're like, it started with like Hannah Montana for sure. If Hannah Montana didn't exist, none of these shows would exist.
Mm-hmm. Like if that shit flopped,
we wouldn't have gotten any of these. But I do think it's interesting to see like what elements they were like, oh, let's take this part and then like combine it with this. Let's take this part and combine it with this. And that's kind of like what all these shows are. Yeah. And it's like they're just like evolutions of each other.
Yeah. And like in regards to like how kids' TV shows like impacted us as a generation, like just look at how many kids and like actually people nowadays, like they drop everything to become an influencer. They drop everything to become a YouTuber, TikToker, whatever. Like everybody, if you have a shot at it, then people take it and run.
Yeah.
And that, I think it's because like, I think we all know like it's kind of like there's only a small amount of people that get to do that kind of stuff. So like people carry on with like their regular lives. That's why a lot of like people that are usually in space like start off in college or whatever, and then they drop out once they get like their success, because it's like, well, I need to take this opportunity right now because these TV shows, like, it's like interesting because it's like a double-edged sword. Because like, yes, you should chase your dreams and stuff, but there's also other things that are like as equally important. And it's kind of weird how we all think about fame and regard fame in such a high manner when there's so many other professions that are equally as important
and fulfilling. I think a lot of people think like, I won't feel
fame
happy
is only fulfillment. Yes, 100%, which is not the case at all. And I think that's just such a weird thing, a weird reality that we face. It's just a fact. Like, that's just how people think, especially our age.
Yeah, and the younger, I think, definitely.
I don't know how I feel about that one, to be honest. So basically what I was interested in is like what is on Disney Channel now. So a lot of the shows actually after had to do with there's like a lot of superhero kid TV shows.
Oh, I did, yeah.
So that's obviously
like Henry Danger and stuff.
Yeah, the Thundermans and Casey Undercover was like a spy show and stuff like that. Yeah, Lab Rats, stuff like that. And I mean, I never watched the shows, but I feel like they could have done more about the science aspect of it, and maybe like been like, scientists are cool, and I'm pretty sure they probably did.
Yeah,
I'm sure they did, like, because I feel like a lot of times...
there was a Disney show that was kind of like that. It was Best Friends Whenever. Do you guys know that show?
Oh yes,
is it a time travel one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think that might be interesting, because I feel like a lot of shows are like that. They're like superheroes, but also they're scientists.
I feel like maybe that's what they were trying to do. They were like, well, we made this generation want to be famous. Let's make the next generation do STEM. And then TikTok came and completely ruined all that.
I know, how terrible is that?
And now everyone wants to be an influencer instead of a scientist. So
they tried, though.
They did try.
It was like a lot of...
Maybe it did.
There was a lot of
STEM.
STEM. Yeah, there was a lot of STEM. I think it did. Yeah. I feel like it did. I think, there's a lot of people in STEM, which is great. And I think they should just show more professions in TV shows. You know what I mean? Like, showing people want to do different types of things. Like Ant Farm also. It was like they were gifted children and they all had different interests and stuff like that. Like more shows like that where like they could all be special at different things.
But it's also funny because we're sitting here being like, oh, go do science, kids, where like we literally studied film. And like, we're an effect of what we're talking about.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I was really good at science and stuff, and like I probably could have done it in school, but because the TV shows that I watched growing up were all about like supporting the arts, which is also important, not everybody can succeed in that.
Right.
Also, that's just the reality of it, and I think it does give a lot of people some sort of like false sense of hope in a way, and I'm like not trying to crush dreams, but it's just a reality of the situation. But I also think like it's weird because like in social media you can do both. Like you could be a scientist and have like your TikTok fame. There's plenty of TikTokers that are like talking about science. Like there's Hank Green, like whatever. Like there's different niches, and that's kind of what I like about TikTok, is because like there are different niches. Like if you're into science, you can get on science TikTok. If you're into true crime, you can get onto true crime TikTok, that kind of stuff. So it's just weird. I don't know, because there's no definite answer. And I feel like usually like in our episodes, there's kind of like an end takeaway. But I mean,
I think we'll have to wait.
Yeah, we have to, like, we're not parents. Yeah. Maybe come back to me when I'm a parent and like maybe I'll have more like insight onto it. But it also is kind of scary. Like I couldn't imagine raising kids like today. Like if I had like a 5-year-old today.
I mean, it's only gonna keep going, and then so.
But I think they were too late on the STEM thing. Like we needed scientists, people our age, to be scientists, so we could actually do something.
Cece and Rocky should have been
scientists. They could have been scientists and things. And also like showing intersectionality and things, like not having one thing be your personality trait. Because that's the thing that I struggle with, is like I like film, but I also care about climate change, and I care about environmental science, but I also care about politics, and like I am just like, okay, well, I can only do one.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. You don't have to do one. And maybe we need more of that, is like showing people having different interests, which is like, you can do that better in like a kids TV show because the rules don't really apply.
No, literally.
It's kind of like
do whatever you want.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. So I don't know. It's like weird because it's like you don't think how much effect it has in the moment, but obviously it does.
Yeah.
We're literally living proof of it. So I don't know. Just
Amy, any last thoughts on this phenomenon?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think you guys hit every point, honestly. Like, I completely agree with everything you're saying. Like, I'd wish, I mean, maybe if I had seen, like, more of those, like, STEM things on TV and, like, people doing other things, maybe I would have wanted to do something different. Yeah. But I think we'll just have to see what this new generation of kids, like, end up becoming and doing, you know?
Yeah, that's literally the only, like,
which is the scary, I think it's just the scariest part.
Yeah. That's so...
Because YouTube, a lot of iPad kids. Like, what?
That's true.
What are they watching? Yeah. Anyways,
what are they watching?
Again, like, it's just so weird because it's not that deep, but it's so deep at the same time because kids, like, what you consume when you're a kid really does deeply affect you.
As we are literally proof of it.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
So
it's a lot more deeper of a topic than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, exactly. So
we came here to talk about Hannah Montana, and now we're talking about raising children.
No, yeah, because when I was doing research last night, I was like, well, this is a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be. Like, I was just like, oh, like, Hannah Montana and Victorious, but no, it makes a difference in kids' lives. So
let us know, everyone listening, let us know what your takes are on this, because I'm sure there are more takes that we didn't cover. There's 3 people's opinions. But, like,
and we're all, like, in the film, like,
similar headspace.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, please let us know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Amy, do you want to tell everyone, like, where they can find you, where they can find your work in the future or right now?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Amy Duverge. I was going to say my old Instagram, but I changed it recently. And then my TikTok is Amy WYD with an underscore. And that's, like, pretty much what I use. So, yeah.
Yeah. And then all this information will be on our Instagram as well at our.hollywood. We always post, like, the guest spotlights on there. But yeah, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Amy, for coming on to our podcast. And we will see you next time.
Thank you for having me.